All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you are new. Thank you so much for being here. Seems we are having some issues. Not sure why. Hopefully that will correct itself. Had to change a bunch of stuff around today. A lot of things moving around, a lot of updates. So the first thing I want to do is just ask you guys, how is everything? How is the audio? How is the video? You let me know. Is it just not working at all? It's good now. Okay, so you might notice that I don't know, on my end, the camera quality is not looking too great. It's looking a little bit hazy. I don't know if it's looking that way on your end. If it is, I do apologize. For some reason, my camera software was just bugging out, and normally I'm able to refocus it manually and get it a little bit more dialed in, a little bit more crisp. I don't know why it's bugging out so hard today. So unfortunately, this is as good as it's going to get. But yeah, hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully it's tolerable. Saying I got some bags under my eyes. Dude, I know. I don't know why. I must be waking up at night or something and not realizing it. Maybe the quality of my sleep is just not as good as it should be. It's, you know what honestly what it probably is, in all seriousness, it's caffeine. I've been having way too much caffeine lately, and yeah, I don't, it's just sometimes that's what it does, you know, it impacts your sleep quality. But I appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you guys, as always, showing some support. I look 5 years older. Damn, dude. That's brutal. That's brutal. It's not too bad, though. It's not too bad. Hopefully not. But I appreciate you guys being here. There are a couple of things, pretty important channel updates. I mean, I guess I'll call it that. Yeah, I think they're channel updates. I don't know if... See, Corey, the legend, already here, coming out strong, starting off with 5 membership gifts. Very much appreciate that, Corey. Yeah, Corey, I'm glad to see you here. Glad to see a lot of our channel members here. A lot of gifters here. Corey starting us off strong. Love to see it, man. I have an important update for all of my channel members, for anybody who gifts memberships. Something I want to talk to you guys about. Obviously, the main discussion today is going to be about The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, causing what I would say is an unnecessary amount of controversy, but it was always bound to happen. The Last of Us Part 2 has, you know, caused what I guess we could say an unnecessary amount of controversy because of just how divisive the game is. But I do have an update for you guys. God, I'm so weirded out right now because I'm like looking at the feed here, and it still shows my intro playing, which is bizarre. This is why I hate messing around with stuff and moving stuff around, because it always, like, things always just get weird, and you got to, like, kind of figure it out on the fly. Anyway, apologies for that. Don't mind me. Some of the updates I want to talk to you guys about today, I think, are pretty important. Let me see here. So yeah, all right. Let me let you guys know. So something we do here on the channel that is pretty significant are channel memberships. As you know, there are a lot of channel members. A lot of people are channel members because they are gifted memberships. We have some incredibly generous channel members here that just dole out a ton of membership gifts, which is incredibly kind of them. Honestly, their generosity is a sight to behold. And we also have channel members who pay for their memberships each month, which is very nice to see as well. It's always great to see people going out of their way to support the content, to support the community, and support the channel month over month. So YouTube may be challenging you, MBG. No more caging rants. Yeah. So something I want to let you guys know about. I don't know if you've noticed, if you look at the membership perks, a new perk has been added. It's called the Members Lounge. Now, the Members Lounge is exactly what it sounds like. It's a place for members to lounge, and it's something we're going to be doing multiple times throughout the week. And in fact, we're going to be doing one today. We did our first Members Lounge yesterday, which was just kind of a hangout where we chatted a little bit about some of the stuff we're going to talk about today, but we talked about other things as well. But today we're going to do another Members Lounge, and the Members Lounge is actually going to occur after the main stream, okay? There may be some technical issues. I'm going to let you know right off the bat because, this is my first time trying to do something like this. So, bear with me. We'll make it through the technical issues. Again, that's kind of why everything is a little bit all over the place today. I do apologize for that. It's just the nature of these things. But the Members Lounge is going to be for channel members, obviously. Those of you who are choosing to be channel members month over month, those of you who are gifted channel memberships, and essentially what it's going to serve as is just a kind of after party type situation where once we're done the mainstream, we're going to go over to the Members Lounge and just hang out. We could be doing many different things there. We could just be chatting. We could just, we could be talking games. We could be talking anything. I could be streaming a game, playing a game. It's hard to say exactly what we'll be doing, but it's a place for members to go and just, again, kind of have that more personal, stream session. And the thing is, it's not going to be like a once a month thing. It's not going to be like a once a week thing. It's going to be something I plan to do multiple times throughout the week. And I hope you guys do end up enjoying it. I really want to try to do more for my channel members because, again, we have very generous members who gift just so many memberships and a lot of people, again, who retain their memberships. And I just want to make sure that you guys are, getting more out of it, as much out of it as I can possibly deliver for you guys. And as I'm saying that, we have Zombie Dragon coming in, gifting a membership as well. So Corey, the Legend Landiga, drops 5 memberships, and we have Zombie Dragon gifting a membership as well. That's 6 already on the day. Let me actually add that to the counter. I really appreciate you guys getting us off to a very strong start. Something else I'm going to be doing, I'm not starting it this week. I'll be starting it next week, is I'm going to have like a kind of, and this is just a way to kind of highlight those of you who are supporting the channel the most. And don't get me wrong, a lot of you guys show tremendous support, and all of it means everything. Whether, if you're giving a $2 super chat, a $100 super chat, gifting 1 membership, gifting 50 memberships, either way, it's all very much appreciated. But what I'm going to be doing starting next week is we're going to be tallying up the most generous donors of the channel, and there's going to just be a little, just a tiny little surprise for the top 4 donors. It's nothing major, okay? So I don't want to you're just going to get a little bit more recognition essentially for being so generous to the channel and so generous to the community. So starting next week, there's going to be just a little bit more recognition for the top 4 donors. And it's not just for membership gifts, it's across the board. Yeah, I'm going to get a face tattoo. That's what it is. Yeah, you figured it out, Gavin. But no, it's not just exclusive to memberships. It's for any type of funding delivered to the channel, super chats, memberships, everything in between. So, I just wanted to let you guys know about this. Something else we might be doing, but I have a third thing. I'm not going to talk about it yet. It's just something that's potentially in the works, in the planning stages. But yeah, I hope you guys look forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it, and I enjoy these streams a lot. I enjoy this community, and I see that we got even more memberships gifted. Remar drops 5 membership gifts. And then on top of that, Hellbound 1981 also drops 5 membership gifts. That's basically 10 members gifted just like that. Again, I just want to highlight all of you who are gifting memberships today. You are giving access to the members lounge. You are giving access to a bunch of people who wouldn't have had access to it even today with what we're doing. So yeah, your membership gifts are going even further now. They're doing even more work than they were previously. So W's in the chat for Remar, for Hellbound 1981. Hellbound is always here gifting memberships. I really appreciate that, guys. That actually brings us up to 16 already on the day. Full-blown membership train. How frequent will the members lounge be? They're going to be pretty frequent. I mean, I don't want to commit to saying like this is exactly how frequent they're going to be, but the plan with the members lounge is to give members something to look forward to as frequently as possible. Like, it's not going to be 7 days a week or like 6 days a week or anything. I mean, that's too crazy. But if you are a member, it's something you can look forward to multiple times at least throughout the week. And again, I'm looking forward to it. It's just something different. And I think you guys will enjoy it. We did our first one yesterday, and that was just kind of a little test. And for those of you who showed up yesterday, it seems like you really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it. So we also have Exley 3000, another legend coming in, dropping 5 memberships. Guys, just like that, you're already about to hit the first goal. You're already about to hit the first goal, which is 25. Absolutely crushing it. So let me give you guys a thank you for that. And Exley dropping 5 more, another legend here. I'm going to update this goal for you guys, and we're going to dive into the topic. I apologize that we had so much kind of like house cleaning, or housekeeping, I should say, to do here. God, man, I've added so much stuff to my stream. I'm like failing to even keep up with it. All right, there we go. Let me update this goal, and we're going to dive into this conversation today. Member goal, we're going to update that here, and then we're going to talk about The Last of Us, because yes, it is causing some controversy, which is, I guess, to be expected. It's The Last of Us Part 2. It was always going to cause controversy. I have a couple of super chats as well. We have Waleed is now a game cat, specifically a white tiger. Says, finished Crossfire on PSVR 2. That game has been constantly updated and is amazing. Playing Red Matter 2 and Room VR immersion at peak. Vertigo 2 soon. Well, it sounds like Waleed is thoroughly enjoying his PSVR 2. And I'm happy to hear that, man. Yeah, again, I've been recommended Red Matter 2 multiple times. Don't know if I'm going to get to it anytime soon, but I heard it's a really good game. I heard it's actually like the best looking PSVR 2 game out there. So, Waleed, I appreciate you giving us that update on your experience with PSVR 2. Finished Crossfire. Good stuff, man. Really quick, I want to acknowledge BB12 in the chat. Says, no more free entry to MBG streams is what it sounds like to me. No, do not. I probably should just make this as clear as possible. There's still going to be regular streams, just like right now. Okay, I'm not paywalling the streams. I just don't think that would be a fair thing to do to the general audience and people who just want to. Again, I've always said, like, without you guys watching, what would be the point? So I'm not going to do anything like that. But it's about adding some type of value, some type of bonus to those who are members. So just to clear that up and make sure nobody walks away thinking like, oh, you have to become a member to join MBG streams. No, we will. So to maybe clarify and make things even more simplified here, there's going to be 2 different types of streams: MBG Live and Members Lounge. And there's no mistaking them. You're going to see in the title and in the thumbnails, there's a separation. MBG Live is open to everybody. It's MBG Live. It's, we're having discussions, we're going over stuff, rants, everything in between. And that's open to everybody. Members Lounge, pretty self-explanatory. So just to clear that up, we have Gavin House with a super chat saying, just bought the VR2 and full racing setup. Can't believe GT is the only racing game, and games like WRC are exclusive to Meta. Same with the new AC VR. Yeah, I mean, you have to you have to imagine that at some point in the future, maybe VR2 is going to get more racing games, but I don't know. People seem very happy with GT7. They do. They seem extremely satisfied with GT7 on PSVR 2, and I did play it myself, and yeah, it was really good. It was really, really good. I was actually very surprised. I was like, man, I don't know how you could kind of go back to playing GT7 normally once you experience it in PSVR 2. I mean, I know you still can and people still do, but it really is just taking it to a whole nother level that you can't experience without VR2. But yeah, we'll have to see if more racing games end up making their way to PSVR 2. So Gavin, I appreciate you dropping that super chat, man. We also have Cobb Sanity, a member for 5 months, who says Knights of the Old Republic remake is dead. Insider Gaming website reported it. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. That's actually one of the topics that I have on the docket today. I don't know how deep we're going to get into it, but it is something I did want to take some time to talk to you guys about. It sounds like this game is, it sounds like it is dead. Which I guess we have. I'm not sure how much there is to say about it, but I'm sure we can find something. We also have Subtext, a longtime member for 15 months, who says, while I totally want new stuff, I really want new stuff. Can gamers stop being whiny babies? It's a $10 upgrade with added content. Fair, in my opinion. So yes, Subtext, I appreciate you giving your thoughts on this whole situation regarding The Last of Us Part 2. I have a lot I want to say about this because I don't think the conversation is as simple as people on the internet are making it sound. I think a lot of people are basically just picking a side, saying it's either good or it's bad. I don't think it's either. I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that. And so, Subtext, look forward to the conversation we are about to have, man. We have Corey Landiga. He does it. Corey does it. Guys, we need some W's in the chat for Corey Landiga. The legend, he drops 5 more membership gifts for us. He immediately crushes our goal. Let's get some W's in the chat as I give you guys a crazy Arnold. Already have to update the goal. Thank you guys so much for that. That's incredibly kind of you. Corey is very generous when it comes to giving out membership gifts. He brings us up to 26. You guys already destroyed the first goal. 26, okay? Let me see. So, yeah, we're going to update that. And just to be clear, when I update the goal and you see it go higher, like it goes from, we hit 25 members, that's the base goal. That's all I'm looking to achieve. It's up to you guys if you want to go further than that. It obviously is greatly appreciated. I put it there to show you, we're at 26. If you want to get us to 50, get us to 50. Just keep in mind, like I said, every membership that's gifted and every person who decides to become a member, you gain access to the Members Lounge, which I'm really excited about the future of what the Members Lounge is going to be. So thank you so much, Corey. Thank you so much. Oh, I did it again. I'm sorry. Saying no, MBG. You dared to dub me Landiga. I don't know. I don't know how that slipped out, man. I apologize, Corey. I guess it's just the nature of talking so much, You know me and my pronunciation. We have the Game Cat, formerly known as Andrew Ehrenreich, which I think I'm saying that correctly. A longtime member for 15 months says, MBG, you got to get more into PSVR. Try Red Matter, Cosmodread, Star Wars, Walking Dead, Synapse, Arizona Sunshine 2. I did see that's coming out very soon. Tons of great games. I know, man. I'm sorry about that. It's a tough thing. It is because, I thought, well, maybe it was unwise of me to think that Resident Evil 4 remake would have been out on VR2 by now because it's they said winter, right? And it's not. I guess it's technically not winter yet. So probably December, January, maybe even February. But I've been waiting for Resident Evil 4 remake to really kind of get back into PSVR 2, and that's probably when it's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to get to all these games because what I want to play now is Lies of P. I'm super excited to get into Lies of P. I've heard such amazing things about this game, and you know how I am. I like to just kind of play one game at a time. I usually, end my night playing just a couple rounds of DBD or something like that, having some fun. And yeah, I know, Matt. I know. Paradise Hotel. I know, man. See, it's overwhelming is what it is. It's freaking overwhelming. There's too many games. People are out of their minds, bro. I'm telling you right now, anybody who says that PSVR 2 doesn't have games is out of their mind. Like, it has too many games. There's too many PS5 games. There's too many games in general. I cannot keep up. Man. Saying Red Matter is about 4 hours. I think it's nice when they're on the shorter side. See, that's what kind of makes me a little bit nervous about Resident Evil 4 Remake on PSVR 2, knowing it's a full-blown, like, 20, 25-hour game or something like that. But yeah, okay, so here's what we're going to do. The first thing, I'm going to read to you guys the information about The Last of Us Remastered. Okay, I just want to give you an idea of everything this game is shipping with when it's releasing. I think this is important to do so we have the full context. Sony announced this because it leaked. It's hard to say if The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered was supposed to be a, I don't know, Game Awards announcement. I thought that's what it was going to be. It may have been, but Sony had to end up announcing this ahead of time because, I mean, the trailer actually leaked out. So they were like, yeah, we gotta put this out. So The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is coming to PS5 on January 19th. 2024. So now we have a January title for PlayStation 5 that's releasing. February, I'm really glad it's not coming out in February. Well, not that it really matters much to me, but I feel like February is already overcrowded. There's 2 PlayStation 5 exclusives launching that month. So I think they made a smart move kind of keeping this to January. But it says here, the team here at Naughty Dog is excited to announce The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, the definitive way to experience the acclaimed Last of Us sequel, originally released in 2020. We're thrilled to confirm you won't have to wait long for it either, as it's releasing on January 19th. It says whether you've already played and even platinum The Last of Us Part 2 on the PS4 or recently jumped into The Last of Us Part 1 on PS5, you can continue the story, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to get to the actual enhancements here. So they say here that The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is designed to let you dig deeper into both its development and mechanics. Chief among these is a brand new mode called No Return, a roguelike survival mode designed to let players prove their mettle in randomized encounters and experience The Last of Us Part 2's combat in a fresh experience. The mode includes a host of playable characters to choose from, some playable for the first time in The Last of Us franchise. And they kind of show that off in the trailer, who each come with their own traits to suit different play styles. Players will chart their own course on each run, choosing between various stealth and combat encounters that will pit you against a range of enemies with unique twists that can add new unexpected factors to any given encounter. So that's like the main thing they're leading with here with this remaster is that, hey, we have a new game mode that we are bringing to the table with this remaster, a roguelike game mode called what are they calling? What are they calling it? No Return. Yeah, that's what it's called. No Return. So, I mean, that's fine, I guess. It's I don't know how most people are feeling about this. How I feel about it is this just makes me sad because it's clear that this is like the closest thing we're going to get to seeing the multiplayer, like these different characters with different traits. Not something that I think is necessarily going to entice me to want to go back to part 2. It says here that for those who have already played The Last of Us Part 2, we included sections featuring the playable guitar, or we know that those sections were a favorite. They're now going to have like a free guitar mode. They say here we've introduced a new guitar free play mode. I'll be honest with you. I think this isn't kind of silly that they're marketing this as like a reason why you want to buy this game. Guitar free play mode will let you strum the strings across a host of unlockable instruments and use FX pedals to modulate your performance and play as different characters in several in-game locations. Um, I mean, it's kind of funny because it's funny that they're gonna allow you to do it with like different guitars and pedals and stuff. Like, people are gonna be playing like master puppets. You're just gonna see Joel sitting there playing master puppets. That's kind of awesome. I won't lie. But yeah, again, it's a little silly. It's a little silly. So I don't know. Is that what do you guys think about that? Yeah, it's basically like guitar. I mean, it's the Last of Us version of Guitar Hero, I guess. All right, let's see. They say here, for both new and returning players interested in learning more, we've designed The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered to offer a comprehensive dive behind the scenes of how our studio brought this game to life. A new set of lost levels in Part 2 Remastered allows players a unique chance to check out some playable sequences previously cut from the game. Again, why would they not call this a director's cut when they're literally adding cut content? These aren't fully finished levels, but rather early in development slices that not only let you see some new glimpses of Part 2's world, but also include embedded developer commentary to give them richer context, explore these spaces, and hear directly from the team about the intention of aspects of each level. This is a unique inclusion for our studio, and we're excited to allow players a glimpse into the creative process. We've also included newly recorded director's commentary across the campaign's cutscenes from director Neil Druckmann, narrative lead Haley Gross, and actors Troy Baker, Ashley Johnson, and Laura Bailey. They assembled to offer insight into the story and its characters that mean so much to both our team and our fans, and we're delighted to give fans even more understanding of the team's approach to the story. So, yeah, this to me highlights one of the more bizarre things about this remaster, and it's the fact that they're calling it remastered. I want to remind people that Sony has done multiple director's cuts for games this generation so far. They did a director's cut for Ghost of Tsushima. They did a director's cut for Death Stranding. And for some reason, they decided not to call this a director's cut, even though it would make the most sense. You're saying who cares what they call it? I think it's important that we actually highlight this because I want to remind people that no one had a problem with Death Stranding director's cut and Ghost of Tsushima director's cut. Now, Ghost of Tsushima director's cut offered an expansion, so it's a little bit different, but they, Death Stranding director's cut offered a $10 upgrade as well for people who already bought Death Stranding, and there was really not much. There was like a little bit of extra content, kind of similar to what we're seeing here with The Last of Us Part 2. And I just want to remind people that people did not have a problem with this. And I think that going with the remastered title is actually asking to get unnecessary hate, because one of the biggest things that people are pointing out with this is they're saying, why does this need a remaster? Like, did this really need to be remastered? And I agree, Matt. It kind of has like a bad, like a kind of a stigma to it. And what's just weird to me is they're actually offering content in this package that would justify calling it a director's cut. Like, they literally have director commentary. They're adding cut content. Why? I just don't get, why would you not call it the director's cut? Not a huge deal, but I guess I'm trying to say that I think if Sony wanted to save themselves a little bit of backlash here, it would have just been easier to call it a director's cut. You're saying some people did have a problem with it, with Death Stranding and Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, I guess there's always going to be people who have a problem with a game being re-released. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I guess I'm just saying, like, from what I could tell, generally speaking, most people were okay with that. So I just a little confusing to me. Now they talk about the actual enhancements. The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered will feature enhanced graphics, including native 4K output and fidelity mode. So native 4K, 30 FPS, 1440p upscaled to 4K in performance mode, an unlocked frame rate option for TVs that support VRR, increased texture resolution, increased level of detail distances, improved shadow quality, animation sampling rate, and more. It all brings the world of Part 2's story to life in a richer and smoother detail, from the snow-swept mountains of Jackson, Wyoming, to the rainy cityscapes of Seattle, blah, blah. Okay, so yeah, that's basically the enhancements. They say it's going to take advantage of the PS5's features in new ways as well, including improved loading times, the DualSense controller with haptic feedback and adaptive triggers, which is to be expected. They're going to have their accessibility options returning alongside new additions like the inclusion of descriptive audio and speech to vibrations, which uses the DualSense controller. That's pretty cool. They're adding the unlockable speedrun mode included with The Last of Us Part 1. It'll also be coming to Part 2 Remastered, allowing players to post their best times. Says, following The Last of Us Part 1, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered includes the ability to unlock bonus skins for Ellie, Abby, and their weapons that we're excited for players to see. Photo mode. Says, in speaking of photo mode, we've made some additions that players of The Last of Us Part 1 will be familiar with, including dynamic lighting, frame forward, and gaze direction, as well as new frame and logo options. And they say here, we're excited to natively bring The Last of Us Part 2 to PS5 as the definitive way to experience the sequel and everything it has to offer, while also offering fans new and returning deeper levels of appreciation for the work that went into it. Pre-orders will be available beginning December 5th, both for the standard edition as well as the WLF edition, which will be exclusively available direct from PlayStation in select markets. It includes a steelbook display case, 4 enamel pins, a Washington Liberation front patch, and a total of 47 Society of Champions trading cards, including 8 holographic cards. So there's a special edition. They're saying good news for existing owners of The Last of Us Part 2 on PlayStation 4. You will be able to upgrade to a digital version of The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered for $10 at launch. You'll also be able to import your saves from the original game to Part 2 Remastered. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That is all the information about The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. And it's worth noting that the $10 upgrade is for both physical and digital. So if you own the game physically or digitally, you're still entitled to that $10 upgrade. And so, yeah, no worries there if you're a physical disc owner. They do clarify that. And now I want to dive into this discussion and talk about the controversy surrounding this. All right. I'm going to start this by saying that obviously this is just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. I've seen a lot of people saying that, people are crying about this game. People have cried about The Last of Us Part 2. People are crying about it getting remastered. Listen, if you're here to hear me take like an extreme stance saying that people need to shut up and stop crying, you're not going to get that. If you're here to hear me go in the opposite direction and tell you that this is absolutely a tragedy and the worst thing to ever happen, you're not going to hear that either. We are going to have a more nuanced conversation because this is, listen, there, in my opinion, are some issues here that go beyond just, oh man, The Last of Us Part 2 shouldn't have gotten a remaster. And I want to dive into what I think those issues are. Will there be a rant? I don't know. There could be a rant. I just don't know. Like, it's the reason why it's difficult for me to rant about this is because in order for me to feel angry enough to rant about it, it would have to feel like it was a surprise. Like, this is not a surprise. I would have ranted. Now, if there was no $10 upgrade path, I would have ranted. I was really waiting to see, because they're going to charge $70 for this. No doubt about it. They're going to charge $70 for this. And if there was no upgrade path, now that would have been a full-blown rant, because that would have been crazy. If this is less than $70, I would be shocked. I would. But from what I can tell, there are basically 2 problems here surrounding this game. The first problem is with Naughty Dog specifically. The second problem is with PlayStation as a whole. And I'm going to explain to you why there's so much controversy around this at this given time. We're going to start with Naughty Dog. The problem with Naughty Dog and them announcing The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is very simple. The only thing that Naughty Dog has produced for the first 3 years of the PlayStation 5's life cycle are as follows: 2 remasters, 1 remake, 0 new announcements. I want to emphasize 0 new announcements. Okay? So, for those who are looking forward to this remaster and have no problem supporting it, I think it's worth understanding that you shouldn't misconstrue, or I know it's hard not to because there's just so much, again, there's so much being said at any given time, but you shouldn't misconstrue separating these two things because they are two separate things. Okay? If you have a problem with the fact that Naughty Dog has made 0 new announcements this generation, but you also want to pay $10 to get this upgrade, two things can be true at the same time, and they can exist at the same time, and they do exist, and it's fine. Okay? But where the problem lies is when people go too far in either direction, which is absolutely what they're doing right now. There are people that are going to tell you that if you are even interested in this upgrade, there's something wrong with you. You're part of the problem. You're ruining this industry. And then there are also people that are defending this and basically saying that there are 0 problems whatsoever. Neither of these things are true. That's the reality. And I know that a lot of people don't want to accept that because, again, the way society is today, it's like pick your side, pick your extreme, because that's all that exists. Everybody just wants to exist in extremes. The reality for Naughty Dog is, again, 2 remasters, 1 remake, 0 new announcements. It is what it is. It's not good, as far as I'm concerned. At the very least, Naughty Dog should have had a new game announced by now. Not released, that's unfair. The last game that Naughty Dog put out was Part 2 in 2020. We know AAA games take multiple years to develop. Naughty Dog is not going to be able to produce a new AAA game in a matter of 3 years. They're going to need longer than that. They're going to need 5 years at the least, probably more than that. And that's fine. But at the very least, they should have given us fans something new to look forward to. Not something that's just a little post saying we're working on a new game. That's not going to suffice at this point. So you also have to question the timing of this announcement. Why would they announce this now? I'm not sure. I think the timing of this announcement is unwise because it's like, if you were to throw this announcement in the middle of an actual good PlayStation showcase with new game announcements, a lot of people really wouldn't care. Yeah, well, okay. The leak. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is this was going to be announced either way. You know what I mean? So, they announced it literally right now because it leaked, but it's coming out in January. Like, they didn't just move up the release date. This game was coming in January no matter what. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, why not push this back to, like, you know, during a time when you're going to have a showcase and you're going to announce new games and people, you know, maybe you're going to be ready to announce Naughty Dog's new game. And then you just kind of throw this in there too. What's wrong with that? I think that's the smarter way to do it because you're going to make everybody happy. Those of you who want to upgrade to this remaster or buy it, you know, you can do that. But those of you who have a problem with the fact that Naughty Dog hasn't announced anything new, there you go. They announced something new. It could be a win-win situation, but for some reason they're separating these two things. Maybe that is the wiser decision at the end of the day because everybody's going to get over this. Just, you know, it's just the way it goes. But just getting back to my 2 main problems. One of the problems, like I said, is isolated to Naughty Dog themselves. And that problem is simple. It's the fact that they've only produced multiple remasters and a remake this gen, 0 new game announcements. Now, the second problem is a wider problem for PlayStation right now that is amplifying. Okay? It's amplifying an issue, in my opinion, needlessly. Okay? The wider problem with PlayStation is there are pretty much no new games that people can look forward to right now or are super interested in or super excited about. Okay? I know people are going to say Wolverine, and yes, we will count Wolverine, but it's, again, man, this conversation is more nuanced because people are going to say Sony hasn't released any new games. False. That is a false statement. Sony has released new games. Okay, well, Sony hasn't released new IP. Another false statement. God damn, Leia. Why you gotta be so aggressive when you jump up like that? Sony hasn't released any new IP this generation. That's also a false statement. Returnal is a new AAA IP. You see, when people make these broad statements, such as Sony doesn't make new games, Sony hasn't released new games, they're false. The reality is that it's not on the level at which people expect. So, yes, Sony did release a new IP this generation in Returnal, a new AAA IP that was received pretty well. So there you go. We can check that box. But the generation is now 3 years deep. Is it understandable that maybe some people would have thought, well, maybe we would have got a little bit more than just one? Yes, that's okay. That is an okay thing to say. It's okay to say that as long as you acknowledge the reality. The reality is there is a new IP. You can't say Sony hasn't done anything new. But if you want to follow it up by saying, but I would have expected them to do a little bit more by this point, that's fine. Okay, but these like broad statements that people keep wanting to make are just false. Now, another statement that people make is, well, okay, Sony just hasn't put out any like new compelling games this generation so far. False again. You need to be more nuanced in your approach to saying those things. What you mean to say is not the only, but Sony has focused mainly on putting out safe sequels this generation. Okay? That's what you mean to say. And that's a fair statement. God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, GT7, Spider-Man 2, these are all safe sequels. Miles Morales, they are safe, and it's okay. It doesn't mean they're not new games. They're new games in a franchise. It doesn't mean they're not quality games. They are quality games. It also doesn't mean that they're not safe. They are safe games. They've played it safe. So the reason why I'm highlighting all of this is because we have a very specific, all of this comes together to create a very specific problem for PlayStation right now. And it simply boils down to this. We don't have new games to look forward to. And that is going to cause people to get very upset at an announcement like this. And that's understandable. That's actually perfectly justifiable. People are going to say, why are you showing me another remaster when you should be showing me new games? Now, here's the thing. People who have been paying attention to Concord, well, you're right. Let me acknowledge that as well. Well, Sony has revealed new games, MBG. Concord, Fair Games, Marathon. And to be clear, we're talking about first party. We're talking about first party, but they have revealed new games, MBG. And you're right, they have. Concord, Fair Games, Marathon are all new PlayStation Studio titles. But again, a problem arises when you dig a little bit deeper and you realize that, can you tell me what Concord is? Can you tell me what Fair Games is? Like, can you describe to me what the gameplay is going to be like? What I can? No, you cannot, because the only thing we've received from these 3 live service titles are CG trailers. Well, even okay, well, we have Wolverine. Yes, we do. Can you tell me what that's going to be like? No, you can't because it's a CG trailer. Now, outside of that, what is it that people can turn to and say, well, it's okay because there's they have many partner games. Of course, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Silent Hill 2 Remake, Rise of the Ronin. Yeah, obviously, Helldivers 2. I'm looking forward to all of these games. And I'm not taking any of that away from Sony, but this is the problem that PlayStation is in, that they find themselves in right now. It's that people are going to be so pissed off about this remaster automatically because it's coming soon, 3 years after launch, and it's a controversial game to begin with. But they're going to be especially pissed off because let me run a different scenario for you right now. Okay? Let's go back to May of this year. PlayStation Showcase is happening. Let's say Sony revealed Ben's new IP. Let's say we saw Bluepoint's new single-player game. Let's say Ghost of Tsushima 2 was announced at this past PlayStation Showcase event. Let me ask you. Oh, you know what? For good measure. And we also got our first gameplay trailer for The Last of Us multiplayer. So a new game from Naughty Dog. Let me ask you, how would people feel right now about The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered? I'll tell you how they would feel. There would certainly still be people pissed off, but not nearly as many. Not nearly as many. Let me tell you, a lot of people right now would not give a shit. They wouldn't even be paying attention because if it's something they're not interested in, they're probably focused on these other games. They're focused on the new stuff that Sony announced. You know how I know this for a fact? Because this is exactly what happened in 2021 with Death Stranding Remastered and Ghost of Tsushima Remastered. People were not nearly as frustrated because Sony had announced new games. People had games like Returnal and Ratchet and Clank to look forward to. They had God of War Ragnarok to look forward to. And yeah, some of them were safe sequels. GT7, Horizon Forbidden West. These are all games. Spider-Man 2, these are all games that were announced that we knew to look forward to, and they were safe sequels, but they were still new games nonetheless. But that's not the situation The Last of Us Part 2 finds itself in. The Last of Us Part 2 finds itself standing alone with nothing to support it. And that is what is causing people to get so pissed off right now. No one is surprised by this. Literally no one. And anybody who acts surprised is lying. No one is surprised that The Last of Us Part 2 was announced. We all knew it was coming for the PS5. But what people, I think, are finding a little bit surprising at this point in time is, okay, Sony wants to sell The Last of Us Part 2 on PS5 and get this game up to their new console, and they're giving an upgrade path to their, owners, which is fine. What is surprising is, why is that all we know? Like, why is that literally all we know right now about Sony's first party? And that is absolutely a justifiable reason to be frustrated. But again, people get extreme, man. They get extreme and they're like, well, Sony sucks. This is all they are anymore. Remake Station 5. Like, okay, well, listen, if you want to dig a little bit deeper, listen to my channel. I'll tell you what Sony has in the works. I can't tell you exactly. It's not like I have sources that are going to tell me this is what the game will be, but I can tell you right now. Sony has new IP in development. Sony has single-player games in development. Sony has a lot of stuff they're currently working on and sitting on, and they haven't revealed yet. And believe me, when this stuff gets revealed, no one's going to give a flying fuck about The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered being announced. But that's the thing. I'm not Sony. Me sitting here telling you guys, hey, Sony Santa Monica is working on a new single-player IP. Isn't that exciting? I know you guys here right now are going to be excited about that, but a lot of other people are not because they're like, who cares? Like, where's the trailer? What's this game look like? I can't do that. Only Sony can do that. But that's the reality, man. That is the reality. It's a little bit more nuanced than people think. It's not one side or the other. It's just there are some problems with PlayStation right now. I don't necessarily know that they're severe because I think they can easily be corrected. It's just a matter of when Sony wants to correct them. But, you know, it is also just, it's understandable why people are frustrated. Garrett Green, a member for 4 months, says, why does it matter if it's a first-party game or just an exclusive? PlayStation is about to have a mountain of exclusives next year. Well, I think it matters because that's the thing is like right now, unfortunately, it has to matter because no one is, or very few people are paying attention to that. I would like them to pay attention to it. Like I want to turn to these people who are getting so upset about this remaster and say, guys, like if you're not it, who cares? Like if you are not interested in this remaster, guess what? Next month, Sony's got a new multiplayer game in Helldivers 2. They got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Silent Hill 2 Remake is about to drop, apparently in March. Rise of the Ronin's coming, a new IP exclusive to PS5. I want to say these things to these people, but that's the thing is like, they don't care because Sony, like they need Sony to tell them, not me. They're not going to listen to me. Sony has to show them. Sony has to remind them. And I think at the Game Awards, they're going to. But you are absolutely right, man. Like this is a thing where there's no doubt that not half the people, but a good chunk of people who are angry with The Last of Us Part 2 right now don't care about any of these games coming out. And that to me, like that's a them problem. Like don't come to me and tell me, well, PlayStation fucking sucks and you shouldn't enjoy it. Like, no. It sucks for you. Because you're not looking forward to any of these games. That's not my fucking problem. I am looking forward to these games. And I'll tell you right now, I am not buying The Last of Us Part 2 remake. I'm not upgrading for it because I'm not interested in it. I think it reveals a problem right now. And the problem is that from Sony's first party, we need new game announcements. We need Sony to start talking. But the problem that's revealed is not Sony doesn't have games coming to keep their player base happy and satisfied. Again, two separate things that need to be talked about distinctly, and people don't want to talk about them distinctly. People need to start learning to have more nuanced conversations, not for the sake of defending something, for the sake of understanding these things. I'm going to cry a river and throw a fucking I'm just a massive rant, outrage fucking fit because The Last of Us Remastered is launching in January and just completely ignore that there's a new multiplayer PS5 game launching and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I know is part of a remake trilogy, but it's basically going to be a new game. I'm just going to fucking ignore those things because they don't matter. No, they do matter, and you shouldn't ignore them. Call a fucking spade a spade. You could, if you're going to call out The Last of Us Part 2 and you're going to call out Sony for doing too many remakes or remasters, also acknowledge, but at least they're giving their fans some pretty damn exciting games literally the very next month. New games. But no, we can't have that conversation because it's either, again, pick your fucking side. You either hate it or you love it. Well, what if you don't hate it or love it? What if you're in between? Because I'll tell you what, I don't like The Last of Us Part 2. I'm not looking forward to it. But I have no problem with anybody who is. If you come to me and say, I'm going to buy this game, a physical copy of it, and collect it and play it and platinum it for $70, that's great. More power to you. I hope you enjoy it. I'm not going to sit there and tell you you're part of the problem. You know, like, no. The only follow-up question I'll probably have is, well, okay, what else are you planning on? Are you planning on playing Helldivers? Are you planning on playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? And I bet you the answer from that person is, yeah, I'm at least going to play one of them. So that's another thing that I think people need to stop doing, is making it seem like that if you're somebody who wants to play this, like there's something wrong with you. Listen, I say this as somebody who isn't a fan of this game. To each their own, man. Cypherpunk with a Super Chat says, the last stream you talked about how great the future was for the PS5 with many games in the works. Now it's all gloom, LOL. Dude, you got to stop with the flip-flopping. Well, that's the thing. Again, Cypherpunk, you're not wrong, but it's not doom and gloom. Me saying there's a problem doesn't mean it's doom and gloom. That, again, this is another thing that people do where it's like, if I point out a problem or even two problems, oh, well, it's fucking over then. This is the condition. This is the internet conditioning people. The internet is inherently a place filled with hyperbole. Okay? And there's nothing hyperbolic about acknowledging that Sony PlayStation has a couple of problems right now. Now, the only question people should be asking, well, there are two questions. The first is, what are those problems and how serious are they? And the answer to that question is simple. Well, I told you what those problems are. They need more new first-party game announcements. How serious is that problem? Not that serious because they have plenty of stuff they're working on. They just haven't announced it yet. Oh, and just like that, the fucking problem, it turns out, is not really that serious at all. What people need to realize by this point in time is that this problem that they're turning this problem into something it's not. They want to convince you that the problem is Sony doesn't have new games. You're just objectively wrong. Again, they do. Okay, well, the problem is Sony didn't announce those new games. Okay, you are correct. So what's the solution to that problem? Do you see what I'm saying? It's a really simple solution. It's Sony will announce these games in probably over the course of the next year, at least some of them. And when they do, it's going to shut people up, is what it's going to do. It's going to be nice. It'll shut me up too. Well, I mean, I'm not going to shut up. I'm just going to talk about how excited I am for some of these games. But it's going to shut a lot of these people up. Because like I said, there are a lot of people right now that they just want to dogpile. And this is not even me defending The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Because you know what? You go ahead. People want to dogpile The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. I'm not going to defend that shit. I'm not going to go out there and tell you shouldn't do it. Like, if that's what you want to do, go ahead. I think there's more to it that you should acknowledge. But I'm not, again, that's not a game I'm going to defend because I'm just not interested in it, frankly. But talking about PlayStation as a whole, you know? Talking about PlayStation as a whole, it's like, I don't know that you should be dogpiling PlayStation as a whole because it's not that simple. It's really not. So Cypherpunk, I get what you're saying. I guess just try to understand that me saying there are some problems with PlayStation is not me saying that it's doom and gloom and that the future looks bleak. I can tell you right now, the future, as far as I can tell, does not look bleak. It actually looks pretty damn good. I just can't promise every person out there that that future is going to look good for you too. Now, if you were to ask me, so you're saying the future is just more remakes and remasters? Well, hold on now. There will be more remakes and remasters. Yes, you'd be a fool to think otherwise. But you'd also be a fool to think that that's all you're going to get from Sony PlayStation for the remainder of this generation. I'd say you're out of your mind. Again, look at the bigger picture. Look at everything else. Don't just focus in on one thing. I know that's what Sony is focused on themselves right now because of marketing reasons, but don't just get caught up in the marketing. Because I'll tell you right now, just take it from me. I'm not giving Sony my money for this Last of Us Part 2 remaster. But I will be giving them my money for Helldivers 2. I will be giving them my money for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And I will be giving them my money for Wolverine. And that's fine. You know, but I just think sometimes people, people right now, I think maybe some people are convinced that by acting outraged and acting frustrated and leaving. And I'm not saying they shouldn't. I think it's fine. Like, if you're trying to send a message to Sony, send that message. I'm not telling you shouldn't. But I just think that people are a little bit misguided in thinking that, dude, Sony does not fucking care about your outrage or your ratios or your videos talking negatively about The Last of Us Part 2. They do not care because they were always going to release this game for the PS5. And as far as I'm concerned, like, you're crazy to think otherwise. They were always going to re-release this game for the PS5. Everybody who has been paying even just a little bit of attention knows that. So I think this idea that, well, we need to stop Sony from doing this, you're not going to stop Sony from doing anything. They're putting this out there for two people. The first are those who want to replay the game and give either $10 or full $70 to rebuy the entire game for some reason. And for people who are buying a PS5 that never played it. For the HBO show, that's season 2's coming out. That's who they're releasing this game for. And they were always going to. And I guess eventually PC. You're saying they will start to care if people stop buying the slot. Well, that's the thing, actually. I agree with that. But people are not going to not buy The Last of Us. Like, I'm not saying The Last of Us Part 2 is going to sell well, guaranteed. The remaster, I don't know. It could flop. If it does, maybe Sony would think that was a waste of time, but I doubt it. Because, again, they have new employees, new hires working on this remaster, to get them acclimated. So I don't think either to them, I think they just probably look at it as making a little bit of extra money on the side. But Naughty Dog is full steam ahead on their new game. That's according to VGC's Jason Midler, reporting, on the inside that this is, Neil Druckmann and the main development team had nothing to do with this. So yeah, I understand the outrage. I just think a Horizon Zero Dawn remaster is coming, guys. Okay. And you're going to see people get outraged. And I'm not saying, again, like that, let people do what they're going to do, but that's what's coming. But I just need to seriously emphasize that's not all that's coming. Okay. Like, you could sit here and say till you're blue in the face, that doesn't need to happen. That doesn't need to exist. And I could even agree with you. I don't think Horizon Zero Dawn needs a remaster. But it doesn't matter. It's coming. The Guerrilla Games new hires have been working on it for probably a year or two at this point. And it's coming. And, if it's something you want, go for it. If it's not, save your money. But you're crazy if you think that's all Sony has coming. But yeah, I don't know, man. At the end of the day, the best thing you could do, if you're somebody who is frustrated by this, the best thing you can do, just don't give Sony your money for it. That's it. It's that simple. Save your money. Give it to Sony when they put out something that you want, that you think is worth it. But I don't think it's fair to shit on people necessarily who are looking forward to this, because it's not like they're not adding anything new. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, what they're offering for $10 is pretty fucking good. To me, that's actually well worth it. If I actually cared about this game and they're like, hey, we're adding all this extra bonus stuff and PlayStation 5 enhancements, and you just pay $10 to upgrade, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, $10, good shit. So the problem is not with the product itself, in my opinion. It's just with the perception of PlayStation right now. And that perception, again, it comes from Sony not announcing enough new games this past year and a half, really. And I know that there are going to be people who say, it should be free, it should be free. Listen, I don't know what to tell those people. If you're walking around in life saying, this should be free, I don't know how you're getting by. I don't. That's not how the fucking world works. It's just not. And you're living in a fucking fantasy land if you think that this should be free. I guess what? That should be free too, and so should that. I shouldn't have to pay. Here's the beautiful thing about it. You don't fucking have to pay. That's why I'm just trying to emphasize to people that you got to put your money where your mouth is. You can sit there again till you're blue in the face. This should be free. This should be free. Sony doesn't give a fuck what you think should be free. They're not marketing this game to you. But if you want to make any kind of if you want to have any chance of making any kind of change, save your money. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. We got Waleed is now a game cat once again with another chat saying, MBG, Sony launched VR2 as well as a unique selling point. I agree with that. I think VR2 is a unique selling point for the PS5. Salvation is free. I mean, I guess technically, yeah. It should be, right? There's your rant. There's your rant. It should be free. It should be free. Everything should be fucking free, but it ain't. I live in the real world. I don't know. I don't even know, man. He's saying remasters don't hardly cost anything to produce. Now a remake, that is a different story. Yeah, but dude, that's the thing though. Like, even if that's true, if Sony spent $0, which they didn't, but just if Sony spent $0 making this remaster, still, why would I expect them to not ask me for money when the goal of Sony's purpose for existing is to make money and they profit? So it's like, if they come out and say, yeah, we spent $0 to do this, but we would like you to pay 10 for it, I could understand, like, well, it'd be great if it was free, but Sony's not a charity, and I'm not expecting them to be a charity. And again, I'll just evaluate, is what they're asking worth it? Well, for me, the answer is no. I'm good. But if somebody else says, yeah, I think it is. I think that what they're offering here looks pretty good. I don't mind paying $10. More power to you, my friend. Who am I to judge? That's your fucking money to do what you want with, not mine. I'm telling you, man, people don't know how to stay in their own lane anymore. They don't. They feel like they got to go around telling everybody what they should be doing. Here's how you should spend your money. And that's fine. But you got to always figure out, like, who asked you, though? You know, like, who asked you? I mean, if somebody is asking, give them an answer. But Jesus, man, it's just like, that shit, to me, that shit's crazy. That's the craziest shit, is people basically saying, like, look, I'm not telling you shouldn't buy The Last of Us. I'm just simply trying to give you some advice. Maybe you didn't ask me, and maybe I am a hypocrite. But I think it is worthwhile advice, and that is, like, look, the only language Sony understands and speaks is the language of money. So do with that what you will. Do with that what you will. Subtext with the $10 super chat says, as further support of your point, I am in this is fine camp, but Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time, and I have Rebirth to hold me over. Without Rebirth, I might be a lot more pissed. And there you go. I appreciate that subtext. I do appreciate that, because it is... I'm in that camp as well. Like, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a game I'm very excited for, very much looking forward to. And I didn't really think to myself, how would I feel about Sony going into 2024 if Rebirth wasn't there? And when I do think about it, I realize, yeah, I'd actually be much more frustrated. Way more frustrated. Because that would mean the only game that I would have any interest in that has a release date or even a release window would be Helldivers 2. And maybe I don't know if that would be enough alone. Maybe if I fall in love with that game and I'm like, holy shit, this game's incredible, maybe. But I would definitely be expecting more from Sony. So the fact that it's like, yo, we got this big single-player RPG coming your way, and then a multiplayer game, and then it seems highly likely that they have more coming with their partner studios. Is Rebirth first party? It is not. But again, as a PlayStation 5 player, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, it's releasing exclusively on the PS5. It doesn't make a huge difference, you know? Like, Sony said, hey, we secured this game for you specifically, right? You're a PS5 player. We secured this game for you, for our PS5 players. So To basically 99% of people buying Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on PS5, it doesn't matter if it's a PlayStation Studios game because it is temporarily. It may as well be. Square Enix made the game. Square Enix owns the IP, but Sony locked it in as a timed exclusive. And for however long it's exclusive, it may as well just be temporarily. For all intents and purposes, it's temporarily a PS Studios game. You know what I mean? If you're, if we want to get into the semantics of it, but that's why I'm saying it's like if we do want to dive deeper, it's not a problem for me that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is launching and Sony wanted to deliver that as an exclusive. That's the opposite of a problem. That's fucking great. Yeah, I'll buy that game, Sony, and I'll enjoy the hell out of it on my PS5. But what is a problem is I also, as somebody who's very much an enthusiast, I want to turn to Sony and I want to say, what about your new games? What else? You guys don't really have much of a roadmap. What have your studios been cooking this whole time? I want to know. Sony's saying no, we don't care. That's Sony's answer to me is, well, that's nice that you want to know. We're not going to tell you. And that's fair. Tell me when you're ready. But I'll keep asking. And when you're ready, I'll be here. So Subtext, I appreciate that super chat, man. I appreciate you chiming in. We also have, let's see here, Ruben Jackson with a $10 super chat saying, last half of PS4 era, we saw the same games multiple times over many years. I appreciate the shorter marketing cycle for first-party content because when PlayStation shows us something, it means it's almost done. Yeah, that's another way of looking at this. One of the big problems I've stated here for Naughty Dog specifically is that they have zero new announcements. And, there are a lot of people that are defending that by saying, but it's good because they're only going to announce stuff when it's close to being done. So that's better than getting like an announcement 3 or 4 years ahead of time and then just slowly, having to wait and wait and wait. Like we're kind of in that boat with Wolverine, right? And I understand that. I don't know that I agree with it fully, to be honest. Yeah, that's the thing is, I think this is one of those things where it just comes down to opinion, where one person might say, I like the shorter marketing cycles. But then another person like myself might not really enjoy that as much. I actually do find that I don't, and maybe it's because I'm a content creator, I don't know, or maybe it's just because it's what I've been used to, because Sony didn't used to do it this way. The shorter marketing cycles, I see an upside to them for sure, but I guess I just I don't know, I kind of do miss when a game was announced like well ahead of time. You just never know when it might show up, to whereas when they're like, yeah, we're not going to announce it until like 6 months or a year prior to launch, you just know it doesn't exist yet. You know what I mean? But then again, I say I guess the question is like, would I have liked to have known that Wolverine is in development versus what I've just preferred Insomniac announces Wolverine in 2024? I mean, I gotta admit, like, I'm glad to know that Wolverine's in development. We haven't seen anything since it was announced in 2021, but I am glad to know that it's in development. Certainly. But that's just my opinion. So, Ruben, I hear you, man. It's another thing I think people need to relax about. And this is just, again, speaking factually, is people need to stop acting like Sony hasn't always done this. They do. Like, it's getting tiresome. I'm not saying that means be okay with it and be happy about it, but please stop acting like Sony doing what they're doing right now with The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is like, wow, I can't believe it. Unreal. Like, really? You can't believe it? This is this is just so shattering to you and so shocking. Like, really? Because I mean, I would have to ask those people, like, are you new to PlayStation? Like, is this your first time? And to be fair, if the answer to that is like, yeah, I just picked up the PS5 this generation, I would say, okay, that's actually, yeah, that's justifiable then. But Sony, they're very much known for remasters and remastering a lot. I think, what's interesting too, I want to say this, because I do think this might be a problem as well. This is a problem I don't think I acknowledged. It seems like Sony is putting too much of a focus on remastering games that I think people feel like we don't need that. To whereas, games like Infamous, I saw like one of the top comments on the YouTube video of this announcement is people saying like, man, I wish we could get like an Infamous 1 and 2 remaster. And like that, I totally agree with, where it's like, yeah, that to me is also another problem. I don't know that it's that severe because it's like, well, I kind of understand why Sony might be very hesitant to remaster some of these games that just people might not know about and they might not care about anymore. But like the audiences might be very small. I do understand that, but I don't know, man. It's like I really think Sony could earn a lot of goodwill if they were just more willing, to like get these, maybe create like a dedicated dev team, a small dev team to just remaster some of their older IP, because they're rich with all this IP, and I will say that Sony is definitely underutilizing their IP, So I can definitely acknowledge that as well. I think that is a fact. They just, they're not doing anything with Infamous, games like Sly Cooper, Killzone, the SOCOM. It goes on and on and on, Actually, you're saying it wasn't always this bad and frequent, though, MBG, at least before they used to space out the lazy cash grabs. Maybe you are right about that. When it comes to the time frames, maybe that is where it's becoming a little bit like, ooh. Because it is true that people are saying like, yo, this game just came out 3 years ago. But again, it's like, it's just so tough because, dude, I remember like people were absolutely expecting The Last of Us Part 2 remaster, or not director's cut, in like 2021. Like we were expecting, like everybody was like, they're gonna, of course, it came out in 2020. They made a PS5 version of Ghost of Tsushima. Of course they're gonna make a PS5 for The Last of Us Part 2. So it's funny because people are like, yo, why does this game need a remaster 3 years later? It's like, you're right, it doesn't need a remaster. It just needed to come to PS5. Again, kind of harkening back to why call it a remaster? What is the purpose of calling it a remaster? Sony playing it too safe, you think? We'll see. I'll tell you this. I'm holding Sony to a very high standard next year. I am. We'll talk more about it in upcoming streams, but I am definitely holding Sony to a higher standard next year, where it's like, look, I'm not saying I'm not expecting more remakes and remasters. I mean, that's pretty much a guarantee, but it's like, beyond that, I'm holding them to a high standard. I expect a lot from them. Saying they could have patched it and gave it to previous owners, MBG. I get that, man. And I'm not advocating against that. That's the funny thing. Like, would I like Sony to announce, here's a free remaster update for people who bought The Last of Us Part 2? I'd say, fuck yeah. Good shit, Sony. Salute. But at the same time, it's like, no, they're going to want some money from me. And I get it. Like, there are going to be people who fight with me and say, see, this is what ponies do. They expect to give Sony money. Like, yes. Like, what fucking world are you living in that you just expect corporations to not ask you for money? I need to know. Like, I need to know, where is that coming from? This whole notion of like, but it should be free. I agree. Like, I would love that too. I'm not against it. I just don't know where it comes from. Bro, you're saying because they get all the money? I get that too. Trust me. Do I feel like a $1 billion company should not be asking me for money? Yeah, I do. But again, like, is that how $1 billion corporations work? You're saying Game Pass is where it comes from? Maybe. Maybe. I mean, yeah, I think Game Pass is definitely added to that. It's definitely made, because, you do hear a lot of people say, like, oh, I get it for free on Game Pass. Like, no, you don't. You're not getting anything for free on Game Pass. You are paying for Game Pass. If you're saying you're getting a great value from Game Pass, okay, yeah. But don't sit here and pretend you're not giving Microsoft your money and that they're not asking you for money. They definitely are. It's that's where I'm saying that this notion of free is weird. I don't like that. Doesn't exist. It doesn't. Like, free just doesn't exist in like open markets. And if it does, it's super rare. And a lot of times, honestly, like, when something is just given for free, I'm always hesitant. I'm like, what's the catch? Like, there's a catch. There's a fucking catch. There has to be. Nothing is free in this world. Nothing. Everything comes with a price. Now, maybe the price isn't always monetary, but everything comes with a price. So I'm always just a little bit hesitant to embrace this whole notion of expecting, like, would it be ideal and great for this upgrade to be free? Yeah. Like if somebody were to say, well, Sony's just nickel and diming you, and they don't have to. They're just being greedy. I still don't know what to say to that. Like, oh, wow, great observation. I would have never known. $1 billion corporation wanting to nickel and dime and be greedy. Wow. Now, if you say, again, if Sony wanted to do a nice thing and win some goodwill, they would give that update for free. I'd say, yeah, that would be a great again, that would be great. Sony, you know what? Fuck it. Sony, make it free. Not for the sake of entitlement, but for the sake of goodwill. But that when Sony turns to me and you and everybody else and says, no, we're going to charge $10. Okay. Do I hate them? I hate you, Sony. Fuck you, Sony. You want to charge $10? Shove it up your ass. No. I'll just say, okay, well, I wouldn't have played it if it was free anyway. I mean, that's just me, bro. I wasn't going to play The Last of Us Part 2 either way, but now I'm just talking crazy. I know. Trust me, just to center ourselves here a little bit, in an ideal world, Sony would be giving these upgrades for free. Absolutely. But I understand that this is a business. They are not a charity. They're going to try to get as much money from their customers as they can. I guess all I'm trying to say is $10 to me personally sounds pretty fair. I'll be honest with you guys, I was worried. I was very worried. Dude, when I saw this announcement, I was like, oh man, they're not going to have an upgrade path, are they? And when I saw that, $10 for people who bought on PS4, I was like, oh, thank God. Because, dude, if Sony, we would be having a totally different conversation today. Like, I would be losing my fucking mind on Sony if they actually didn't have a $10 upgrade path and was just like, if you want it $70, I would have been like, there ain't no way. Sony done lost their mind. Okay? This isn't just about greed anymore. This is about executives losing their fucking minds behind the scenes and having no idea what's going on. Yeah, that rant would have been legendary. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing that rant doesn't have to happen. ABG, why do you put your content behind a paywall? Why not give it away for free? What are you talking about? You talking about the members lounge? The members lounge is, yeah, it's for members. It's members content. But free content. What free content still exists? This is free content. What you're experiencing right now, unless if that is sarcasm, I'm sorry. I didn't read it sarcastically. That's the thing. I'm just nervous that some people are going to misunderstand. Like I'm still afraid that somebody's going to walk away from my stream today being like, well, I guess I'm not tuning in to MBG streams anymore because he's paywalling his streams. Like, no, that's not what we're doing. I don't know. Yeah, I can't. Maybe somebody says he's being sarcastic. Maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't. You can't really read sarcasm unless you make it clear. Like literally say like this is sarcasm. Zombie Dragon, a member for 6 months, says everybody needs to calm down and play the games. They want, and this is coming from someone that has no interest in any of Sony's upcoming games. Oh, well, there you go. Zombie Dragon coming in. I hear you, Zombie Dragon, but we can't. Not yet. Not until this stream is over. Listen, when this stream is over, we can all calm the fuck down. When this stream is over, we can all calm down and just play our games and have a good old time. But while I am streaming, I got some shit to say. So Zombie Dragon, absolutely, man. At the end of the day, that is the best advice. But I do want to continue to have this discussion with you guys because I'm enjoying it. I appreciate you guys listening to me. And Zombie Dragon, hopefully you enjoy the content as well. Thank you for being a member as well. We also have AJ saying, imagine a reality where Bluepoint is working on a Demon's Souls 2 with From Software. From Software working on a Bloodborne remake and a new IP. I am an optimist. I love that optimism. I feel... I'm afraid I'm about to shatter your optimism, and I'm sorry because that does sound incredible. I mean, that sounds perfect. But I'm going to have to shatter that optimism a little bit because if Bluepoint is working on Demon's Souls 2, I want to say there's like zero chance From Software's involved. I also want to say there's probably zero... No, not probably. I want to say there's zero chance that From Software is working on a Bloodborne remake. However, you say From Software working on a new IP, I think they actually are. So that's where I can't completely shatter your optimism. I think they are working on a new IP. I think we're going to see that. Maybe next year. Maybe it's a PS5 exclusive. We've been talking about that. There seems to be some evidence that this is one of the major partnerships that Sony tried to secure an exclusive game with From Software. So I have a very strong feeling Bluepoint is working on Uncharted. I don't know if people are going to feel excited about that or disappointed. I think it's going to be pretty split. Like, I think that there are going to be a lot of people very disappointed if they find out Bluepoint is working on Uncharted. I think there will be other people that are happy, but I think everybody should brace themselves. I'm not saying I have inside info. I have no idea. I'm just saying I get this really strong hunch that I think that they're working on Uncharted, and I agree in that would be very disappointing. Like, I don't want to be too negative if that's what they're doing because it's like I want to give them a chance. Like, let's see what you guys can do. It's Bluepoint. Like, they're a good studio. I want to give them a chance, but man, that would be, out of all the things they could do, that would be, I think, that's at the bottom of the list for me. Actually, I don't even know if it's on the list. So I would be definitely disappointed, but I'd be willing to give them a chance. But I get this feeling they're working on Uncharted. Because keep in mind, Bluepoint says they're working on original content, but they made it pretty clear that the original content it's not a new IP. It's from something that already exists. And when you think about it, Sony has teased Uncharted like multiple times in their ad campaigns without announcing a new Uncharted. I think that's what they're working on. I really do. I know it seems weird because it's like there have been so many rumors about. We know it's not Metal Gear now. We know that. We can cross that off the list. We know it's not Silent Hill, not anything to do with Konami. You know, people I think are still hoping that it has something to do with Bloodborne or Demon's Souls, and I'm beginning to think it's less likely that it's going to be either of those. Truthfully. See, I do see people being excited. Bluepoint working on a Horizon remake. Oh my God. Okay, then you would see me snap. You want to see me snap? You'd see me snap? Oh man, that would be no way. No, I would fucking, dude, you would see a tangent, you would see a rant like never before. I would be so pissed at Sony. I'd punch a hole in my wall. All right, maybe I wouldn't punch a hole in my wall, but I'd do something. I'd do something crazy. Damn. Now you got me all nervous. No. They're definitely not working on that. They're definitely not working on that. But AJ, I also want to give you a shout out, bud. It says it is your first time sending a super chat. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for all the support you guys show the channel. I love doing these streams. I love hanging out with you guys. Support means everything. We are fan funded here. So, let's see here. In your own words, just don't buy it. No need to rant. I know. You're right. I'm my own worst enemy. Yeah, by the way, guys, hit that like button for me. All right? Hit that like button for me. We're at 211 likes. I think we could easily, come on, we got over 500 people here. We could easily get to 300. Show the stream some love. Let me know you guys enjoy them. Let me know you're enjoying the content. Take a second out of your day. Hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. To those of you who've already done it, thank you. We have Broccoli Rob here, member for 6 months. Thank you, buddy, saying, this generation has been mostly third-party games for me, pushing me more and more to my PC. All these remakes and remasters of remasters, nice, are cash grabs in my opinion. And that's fair, Broccoli Rob. And that's the thing is, like, I think you're doing the right thing. I do. The feelings that you're conveying here, this idea that it's pushing you, you feel like it's pushing you to want to just go mainly to PC. That's the right thing to do, man. Like, I'm not going to tell you, no, man, hang on. That's not my job. That's Sony's job. The only thing I would say to you is, of course, if Sony has a showcase, tune in. I hope for not just your sake, but my sake and everybody else's, I hope they show some good shit. But I think you're doing the right thing. And that's all I really want to encourage anybody to do, is just do what feels right for you. I've seen a lot of people come my way and say, like, man, I prefer PC. That's where I like to play games. I feel like that's where I want to go. And, everything in between. It's like, I think some people say this stuff to me thinking that I'm going to get, like, all defensive and be like, no, PC sucks. Why would you ever game on PC? Like, hell, like, I completely understand why people would game on PC. I think a lot of people would ask, why wouldn't you game on PC? I get it. Everybody has their reasons. And so, absolutely, Broccoli Rob, we'll see. I mean, I'm assuming, based off of what you're saying here, that if Sony backs off on the remakes and remasters and starts announcing, like, new PS5 exclusives, like actual new games, maybe that'll win you over more. And I don't think that applies to just you, Broccoli Rob. I think that applies to a lot of people. And that's the disconnect here. The Occam's Razor, guys. We need to go with Occam's Razor. You know what Occam's Razor tells you right now? And I hate talking about this because it's true. Like, you fucking know it's true. I know it's true. I wish it wasn't true because it means we just got to be patient. But it's true. Sony isn't announcing new games because they do not have to. They do not have to. That's the truth. Like, that's all it boils down to, man. Like, they are killing it sales-wise. They just launched Spider-Man 2, which is also killing it sales-wise. They got a ton of partner studios like Square, Konami, Team Ninja, that their bases are fucking covered, guys, right now. And there is no reason for them to announce literally anything except this remaster. And I hate that. To be clear, I hate that. I want that narrative to change. I want that to shift. I want to see Sony get a little bit less comfortable. I'm not saying I want to see PS5 sales plummet and their game sales plummet and just go in the fucking gutter. No, but I want to see them feel a little bit like, oh, PS5 sales are slowing down. Guess we better announce some new PS5 games. Yeah, I'm all for that. But right now, that's just not you know, again, they're about to have a record breaking holiday season, you know? So, what are you going to do? Guys, stop buying PS5s, damn it. You know what? We've come full circle. Stop buying PS5s. Stop buying Spider-Man 2. You need to let Sony feel the pressure, okay? Stop buying shit from Sony. I'm just kidding. I'm of course I'm kidding. Buy what you want, but it'll happen. It will. Like eventually PS5 sales are going to slow down a little bit, and when they do, Sony's going to feel like, okay, we got to get out there and let's get people excited again. Send them a message. You know what? Throw out your PS5. Don't even turn it on. Don't play it. Don't turn it on. Give them no money. Cut Sony off. Okay? Just cut them off. We've given them too much. We need them to make some new announcements. You know what? You know what the funniest thing is? It's crazy because it's true. If that actually happened, like if Sony just saw like their numbers plummet in the next like month and a half, dude, they would panic and put on a showcase. They would. Like they would absolutely put on a showcase and feel like, "Oh, we got to get people excited again." But we'll see what happens. You hope the console market doesn't die? I don't think it's going to die. Zombie Dragon with a $10 super chat says, this isn't all that surprising. You said Thomas, but I think you meant to say Sony. That's such a crazy, I don't know how that happened, but you're saying Thomas done this before with The Last of Us Remaster. Wait, why are you up here again? You just like chilling up here? Do I think The Last was part 2 should have been made? Okay, so you're asking if I'm sorry, I'm trying to read that. I'm really hung up on the Thomas thing. Let me try this again, Zombie Dragon. This isn't all that surprising. Sony did this before with The Last of Us Remaster. Do I think that The Last of Us 2 should have been made? No, but just don't buy it. I'm sorry that took so long for me to read. I just had to correct a couple things there, but Zombie Dragon, I mean, you're just again, man, you're highlighting what I think is important in this situation. People just have to do what's right for them. And if you are somebody who cares about PlayStation and the industry, at least to the degree in which you feel bothered by how many remakes and remasters you're getting, in all seriousness, just save your money. You know, you can't stop people who are interested from spending their money, and nor should you try to stop them. But it's just everybody has to do their part. If you are somebody who likes, like, the market speaks, man. That's all I'm trying to say. Without going on another rant, the market speaks, and I'll tell you this right now: I don't think The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is going to sell incredibly well. I don't. I think it's going to sell okay, and I think most people are going to go for that $10 upgrade path. And so Sony is going, like, if Sony really didn't put hardly any money into this, they're definitely going to make money from that. You know? But I think Sony is also putting this game in a position where, hey, we have The Last of Us HBO Season 2 coming out in early 2025 or sometime in 2025. This game will probably still be $70 or close to it by the time that comes out. And Sony's probably banking on that, you know, making the sales surge. New people playing the game. They just clearly want it there to make extra money. And that's why it's hard for me to really be that mad about it, because it's like, I know the purpose it serves and I know how much went into it. The purpose it serves, just make a little bit of extra money on the side. How much went into it? Hardly anything. It's almost like it's a nothing burger for me, is what it is. Which is ironic because I'm sitting here talking about it for nearly 2 hours. But at the end of the day, my opinions and discussions aside, it is a nothing burger to me, because it's just like, well, okay. Get that extra money. It's like when Sony announces a game is going to PC. You know? All right, let's see. We got Zombie Dragon. I appreciate that, buddy. We have Techie6 with a super chat saying the controversy is beyond stupid. If they have it named Director's Cut or some sort of edition, people wouldn't care. Just look at Ghost of Tsushima or Death Stranding. I agree. Again, man, like what is going on with their marketing there? I think this was a Naughty Dog decision, not a Sony decision. You know, hold on. I just thought of something. Maybe it's because of who the director is. Maybe Neil Druckmann, and Sony were like, let's not call this a director's cut because people don't like Neil Druckmann. A lot of people don't like Neil Druckmann. He gets a lot of hate. Especially because of The Last of Us Part 2. Maybe they weighed the options here and they were like, listen, if we go with director's cut, we're basically, we're going to make sure Neil gets a lot of hate. If we don't call it a director's cut, the term remake, I don't know, maybe Sony's taking a bullet for Neil here. Sony's taking a bullet for Neil, maybe? I don't know. I'm really looking too deep into it now, but the question has to be asked. Why didn't they call it a director's cut? It's a totally fair question to ask. I mean, look, I don't like Neil either. In the sense that I don't like the decisions he made with The Last of Us Part 2. Who he is as a person, I don't give a fuck. He's a game director, Like, I don't have I think people are like people. I don't get people act like they have a personal problem. Like, I don't care. I don't agree with his. I don't like the decisions he made. And I don't like him in the as a director for that. We have Exley 3000. Exley coming in, dropping 5 more memberships. Boom. Exley does it. Exley making sure 5 more people get to join the members lounge towards the end of the stream once we get to the end of it. So, Exley, thank you so much, my friend, for not only being a legend, but continuing to be a legend and dropping more memberships. He brings us up to 31 members today. Good shit, Exley. Dropping bombs.
Appreciate it.
Let me see. I'll give you a jolt.
You keep finding something to fight for.
Why am I yelling? I'm sorry. I have to realize when I'm yelling like this, I have to stop yelling so close to the mic. It's probably blowing out some eardrums. I apologize. I like yelling. I like keeping the energy high when I can. But I do apologize if I'm yelling directly into the mic and just causing, problems for people and their ears. So, actually, either way, man, thank you so much. Let me add those to the membership counter. We're getting closer and closer to hitting a second goal. Are we going to do it today? I don't know. We'll see. At 50 members is a lot. We're sitting at 31. 31 members is a lot. But you guys are doing amazing stuff here. Where do I celebrate Thanksgiving? Yes, with the in-laws. Yep. It's nice, though. I think my father-in-law, he's doing something different with the turkey this year. I think he bought like a big smoker or something. And he's really excited to like smoke the turkey. And I'm excited because I'm like, yo, that sounds incredible. So I'm excited. I am planning on... I have to figure out if I'm going to stream on Thanksgiving. It would be nice to do a little Thanksgiving stream. It's up in the air right now. I will say if I do it, it'll probably be much earlier than normal. Because I don't know what time I'm doing like Thanksgiving with the family. It varies year over year. Usually I think it's like mid-afternoon or closer to the afternoon. But we'll have to see. Smoke the turkey. Sounds like a euphemism. Smoked turkey and chicken is fantastic. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually excited. You don't like turkey? I can understand that. Turkey, I think, for a lot of people, is just too bland or dry. Have I had a turducken? No, turduncan? I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. No, I don't think I ever have. Actually says we splurged and got a heritage organic free-range turkey. $130. Should be delicious. Damn. That does sound like it's going to be good. That free-range meat always hits different. Sounds good, actually. I'll be honest. I'm not the biggest fan of Thanksgiving, frankly. I don't have anything against it. It always feels like it's just an extra, like it's an extra holiday that is just in. It's. I mean, I guess that is what it is technically, right? Like it's inserted between Halloween um and Christmas. I guess it's because I don't know. I mean, I like Halloween. I think certainly more than Thanksgiving, but maybe I don't. I don't know. I never really put much thought into this. I like the aesthetic of Halloween way more than the aesthetic of Thanksgiving. I think that's what it comes down to. It's the aesthetic. It's the feel of it. You know, the look of it. Um, just the energy behind it. But I don't know. Maybe I'm not giving enough love to Thanksgiving. Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing. I mean, obviously Thanksgiving you're spending time with the family, but you know the tryptophan and the turkey, practically knocking your ass out. You know, just chilling. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll get back to you. I'll let you know how my Thanksgiving is this year, and we'll see. Maybe my mind is gonna change. And we have Toolman55. Toolman55 keeping the membership train alive and thriving here. Longtime member decides he wants to keep it going. He drops another membership gift. So Toolman, thank you so much, my friend.
Appreciate it.
Toolman brings us up to 32 members. We're still climbing. So that's another who was gifted that. That meme guy. There you go. That meme guy now has access to today's members lounge. I hope to see you there, bud. Oh man. What is going on in the chat right now? Oh, something crazy going on in the chat right now. I'm not even going to read that shit. I'm going to look away. All right. Let's see. We have, because I'm a little bit behind in super chats here. We have Fearless Cheshire Cat. I don't know why I have trouble saying that. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Really quick, Jakey Skew is saying, I can't gift until next month, sadly. But you know, dude, it's no one ever has to explain themselves. Okay? I want to make that clear. Jake, you've gifted on the channel before. You've shown support. I appreciate any support you guys can show, truthfully. I mean, obviously, I try to encourage people if they're interested and if they're able to and willing, but I don't want anybody to ever feel like you don't owe me anything, you know? Anything you guys, and that's the beautiful thing about this community, is anything you guys do, you're just doing out of the kindness of your heart, not just for me, but for the channel and for the community. So good stuff, guys. Thank you so much. Don't ever have to explain. But Fearless Cheshire Cat, you're saying Xbox players are extremely entitled. They don't understand even the most basic principles of business, and that's why they don't have any massive AAA titles themselves. Damn, Fearless Cheshire Cat just going in for like, I don't know, no reason whatsoever on Xbox fans. I mean, I hear you, man. I don't want to say it's Xbox players. The only thing I will say, Fearless, is that I think it's a little bit unfair to just pin it on like a broad stroke on all Xbox players. It's definitely not. I think what I would do is replace that with, like, again, kind of Xbox fanboys who are just in these groups and in these circles where it's a hive mind mentality, you know, and I think that's what we see, unfortunately, because I can tell you right now, there definitely are Xbox players that, you know, I don't think that they have nothing to do, frankly, with like those groups of people. And I just think that it is unfortunate at times like this where, again, I'm trying to have a more nuanced conversation about The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered and Sony as a whole and, you know, just what's going on. And, of course, there's always just going to be those people who just kind of they just kind of want to spew venom for the sake of it because it's what that kind of, again, that circle, that smaller but vocal group of people, that's what they like to do. So I understand where you're coming from, Fearless, but we're going to see. We're going to see when it comes to Xbox AAA titles and quality. We're going to see. We're going to find out in the next year or two. No doubt about it. People always trying to flatten MVG's tires. That's a funny way of putting it. Yeah, well, we're still rolling. We're still rolling, and we're still rolling strong, man. So they can keep doing what they want. They'll do what they will. But so will we. Time for MVG to get airless tires. We're flying, baby. We're flying. I don't know. It sounds a little bit cringe, but I don't know. I'm just fucking around at this point. We got Sim Particle, member for 9 months. Really appreciate that, man. You're saying, haven't been able to catch live stream in a minute. Keep up the good work, G. Have you heard of SweetBaby Inc? If not, I highly recommend you research how they're impacting the industry. So I did do a little bit of research into this. Not a whole lot. I got to do more because you guys have been telling me about this. And yeah, shit's ridiculous. I'm not a fan at all of what this company is trying to do, because it's just like fucking it's how do I want to word this, because I'm not trying to go too deep into it here. I don't like that this company is clearly in place to push leftist political agendas, frankly. Like that, like it's from the research I've done into it, that's like literally the purpose. That's why they exist. And they kind of, it seems like they're trying to disguise it with like, oh, but we just want to be inclusive. And it's like, yeah, but why does your company have to be, I don't get it. Like, development teams are made up of a bunch of different people. Like, these development teams themselves are diverse. Like, I don't think the people creating these stories are not keeping diversity in mind. And that to me is what's fucking bizarre about it, where it's like, this just, you know how like people shit all over like Anita Sarkeesian because like Neil Druckmann, and I think Neil Druckmann was like friends with her and like like she acted as a fucking consultant, and she went down in flames because everybody saw through her, where they were like, what are you, like, why is anybody consulting, like who's making video games? Why is anybody consulting with this individual? Like, this is the last person that they should be consulting, because it's a fucking joke. And there were, unfortunately, studios and directors of studios, and I do think Neil Druckmann was one of them, where they actually, like, they vouched for this individual. And they were like, yeah, we're going to have them come to our studio, and we're going to have them evaluate our game and tell us how we should make our fucking game. And then you know, when it all comes full circle, this person that they put so much faith in, that people were trying to say, like, don't listen to this person. They're a joke. Please don't listen to them. And then look at what happens. Turns out that people were right. And the same thing is going to happen with this SweetBaby Inc. company. Where like, yeah, now all these studios are like, we need to consult. Like, no, you fucking don't. Like, just be rational. Is it that fucking hard? It's not. This is what pisses me off. You want to talk about something that's going to get me to rant? What pisses me off is that people continue to act like it's so fucking difficult to just be rational, to just have just a fucking ounce of common sense. Inclusivity is something that, of course, people are naturally going to want to have in their stories, because how could you not? Inclusivity, to an extent, has always been there. I'm not speaking for every story, but inclusivity has always been there. The difference is we need inclusivity to be there when it makes fucking sense. Like, if it serves the story, then put it there. You know what? Let's just fucking throw out the word inclusivity. Fuck that. Okay, let's throw out the word inclusivity. Just serve the fucking story. Okay? It shouldn't be that hard. Serve the story. Does this make sense for the story? Yes or no? No? Get it the fuck out. But no buts, get it the fuck out. If the answer is yes, this does serve the story. This makes perfect sense. And people will, this will make this story better. Then put it in. I don't want to hear about fucking skin color. I don't want to hear about gender. I don't want to hear about anything. I don't want to hear about any of that. I want to hear, does it fucking make sense? And if the answer is yes, there you go. That's how you make a good fucking game. That's how you make a good story. That's how you make a good piece of media. Anybody in the past who has ever made good media, this is how they operate. They operate with, let's make a good fucking story. And you know what? Here's another thing I gotta say. Any story that is worth its fucking weight, any story that has had any type of impact, they never forced shit. You will never make an impact by fucking forcing something, by brute fucking forcing something. You make it by winning people over. And you win people over by giving them something they enjoy. Something that if it's trying to tell you something, it doesn't shove it in your fucking face. It lets you come to that conclusion on your own. And before you know it, you're like, wow. And you know what that takes? That takes skill. That takes talent. And all you see today are fucking people with zero skill, zero fucking talent, trying to inject themselves into areas where they don't fucking belong. To them, they think inclusivity means I should have this job because I'm entitled to it. No, a person that has any fucking title, the only person that should be there is the person that's best suited for the job. Period. End of fucking discussion. So tired of this shit, man. Like, when is it gonna stop? It will. It's gonna fucking implode. It is. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Because that's the thing. Eventually, everyone's going to see through it. When you don't have the skill and you don't have the talent to back up what you're fucking trying to do, it's going to collapse. People might not be aware of it right away, but trust me, they're going to get fucking tired of it. That's why it's called a timeless classic. There you go. Exactly. The shit that's remembered all throughout time and history is not shit that, again, it's not stuff where people were just fucking soullessly trying to inject the fucking message of the day. No. The shit that's most remembered is stuff that frankly comes from a place of common sense, a place of decency. That's it. NBG, did you read what Garfield's creator wrote about why Garfield is never about politics? I didn't know. I didn't catch that. Well, there's your rant for the day. I said earlier I wasn't sure if I was going to rant, but there, I ranted. Sony is all in on the Panderverse and pushing me away. Oh, man. Dude, I'm telling you, here's a question I have. You ready? Here's a question I have. Do you think Insomniac is going to consult SweetBaby Inc. for Wolverine? Do you think that's what they're going to do? Off the rails, boys. Maybe a little bit off the, yeah, maybe a little bit. I mean, it is relevant because the company we're talking about is they're working with Sony in their studios. See, that's where it's like, why? Like, what is the purpose here? What is the purpose? Like, you are working with fucking source material. Why do you need a third-party company that is politically driven? Like, obviously politically driven. Why do you need a third-party company to come in and tell you what to do? It's fucking right there. You don't. You don't. Everybody knows you don't. Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man 2, yeah, the company worked with Insomniac on Spider-Man 2. Oh, jeez. It's annoying as hell, man. This is why, like, look, man, we're just gonna have to wait and see. I don't want to call anything early. You know, I went on another tangent previously. Okay, I went on another tangent previously where I ranted about the idea of you just have to acknowledge, like, just take things for what they are. No outside influence, right? No outside influence. You take things for what they are, and there are plenty of times where I do take things for what they are, and I'm like, there are times where I'm like, I think it's fine. But there are also many times where I take things for what they are, and I'm like, something's off here. Something is off here. Something feels strange about this, and I can't quite put my finger on it. And then later on, I find out something about it, and I'm like, well, that explains it. You're saying it has to do with BlackRock. They own 91 million shares, and CEO Larry Fink said that they have to force this behavior, and if companies don't do it, they will withhold loans. What the fuck? I never heard of that, but it sounds like you know what you're saying here and talking about, and that we have to force this behavior. Oh my god. The BlackRock conspiracy. I don't know. I'm not familiar with this conspiracy. Don't bring BlackRock into this. I don't know, man. Look, I'm not diving down a conspiracy rabbit hole. I have to look into it myself. I'm just saying people have told me, like, look into SweetBaby Inc. and do a little research on that company, and I did, and it's like, wow, yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not, I'm just not in. I hate this shit. I hate shit that's just so fucking obviously politically driven, man. It's frustrating. Thing isn't all about the ESG score. I guess so. Well, it is what it is. I mean, we only have so much power at the end of the day, We only have so much power at the end of the day. We got to just, again, it all comes back down to money. Money is power. It is. I think that's proven. That continues to be proven. And even though, none of us here, I'm assuming none of us here, like, billionaires or, I don't know, maybe somebody here is a millionaire, maybe a multimillionaire. I don't know. But I just think that we all have a little bit of power. I don't know that individually any one of us has enough to, again, enact major change, but collectively, we can definitely, the market can be a force, no doubt about it. So I'll tell you, dude, I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right fucking now. I have some expectations for Wolverine. I do. And I'm just going to be paying close attention to when we first see Wolverine and what this game is going to be like, because I'm not saying I'm not excited for Spider-Man 3, but I almost feel at this point somewhat indifferent to Spider-Man 3, where it's like I'll probably play it when it comes out, but Wolverine is really all I care about right now from Insomniac. And it's because if they fuck Wolverine up, I don't know, dude, I don't know what I'm going to do at that point. I hope MBG doesn't lose sleep over it, though. I will fucking lose sleep over it. Okay? No, I won't lose sleep over it, but I will be very pissed off. I will be. Saying what is woke to you guys? Like, what do you consider woke? I'm not even going to use the term woke. I'm not using that anymore. Because it's like when you use the word woke, you turn a lot of people just instantly tune out. And I get why. I do, because it's just like when I'm tired of using like buzzwords and terms. I'm just saying, like, Wolverine is a character, as far as I am aware, from everything I've learned about the character that is Logan. It's like, he's not an evil character, you know? That's kind of the whole point. He's not an evil character. It's just the game should be fucking brutal, and let's face it, man. Like, Wolverine has a lot of traits that today would be considered toxic masculinity. But that's what Wolverine is. That's who Logan is. Yeah, you're saying think of him as kind of like a Max Payne type character. Do we know the writer penning Wolverine? We do. So if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, the writer is the same person who worked on it was that military game that came out a long time ago that actually got a ton of praise. I think it was called The Line. Spec Ops: The Line, and I think that it got a lot of praise because it didn't hold back. It was like a, very dark and psychologically dark game, and it dealt with some like heavy subject matter, and that gives me a lot of hope. Where it's like good, like we need that shit. We need more of that shit, a lot more. I agree. Actually, saying there's nothing wrong with masculinity is necessary for a peaceful world. I mean, I've always gravitated towards, more masculine characters because I don't know, just look up to them or feel like I could relate to them, and there's no denying that there can be certain traits of masculinity that, yeah, can be toxic for sure, but that it's not exclusive to masculinity. There are traits all around that can be toxic. And I think that that's where shit gets all fucked up, is that, like, people want to just keep pointing the finger. It's like, well, it's this and it's that. And it's like, they're very specific. Like, it's just like, you don't need to put everything under one umbrella. You don't. Like, if there's a masculine character, like, that doesn't make them bad. And if there's a feminine character, that doesn't make them bad either. This is again where I think it is like the identity politics. Or it's like, why can't you just, like, let's just judge? Like, my whole thing with Wolverine is he is an established character, so there is an expectation. Like, they can't just come out with Logan and have him be like, oh, hey guys, like, I'm happy-go-lucky. It would be fucking nonsensical. Like, that's not, what is this game? Who is this character? That's not Wolverine. So I think, Wolverine, one of the things I've always liked about his character is he is a fucking badass. And he doesn't take shit. And he will tell you to fuck off for no reason. And I like that about him. Is it a little bit toxic? Yeah, but that's what makes Logan an interesting character, is he is a little bit fucking toxic, but you realize that that's not deep down all there is to him. There's a lot more to him. And the fun of Logan's character and the interest is learning more about this character. I mean, people always talk about The Last of Us Part 2, like, oh, people crying because Joel died. Dude, it's not, as far as I'm aware, no one's crying because Joel died. I expected Joel to die. What drove me nuts is fucking Joel being such an interesting and character with a lot of depth being fucking golf clubbed. And then I have to fucking now I have to learn the backstory of this character that is just like, wow, you're so interesting, except you're fucking not. I know. Here we go. I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna drop it. All right. I'm gonna drop it because I'm not getting into that rant. I'm just saying it's like, Joel's one of my favorite characters. Crying about it. MVG crying. You're crying about his death still. Listen, I'm not crying about his death. It's the thing that makes me sad about Joel's character being killed off is simply this. I thought Joel was a very interesting character. I do. That's all. That's all. Like, I don't have a problem with Abby as a character, like in and of itself, where it's like Abby exists in this universe and she plays a role in it. And I have no problem with that. The only thing that truly killed me is just knowing, like, and that's it for Joel. Sorry if you found him interesting. But he's gone now, and he's never coming back. However, we wrecked Ellie as a character, and we also have 2 new characters with Abby and Lev that can carry the torch. And it's like, fuck, man. Why's it got to be the character I was most interested in? You know, that's all. Look, it's not so much crying about Joel dying. It's just, I was really interested in kind of seeing Joel, and maybe, I don't know, who knows? Like, if there's a lot they could still do with Joel, to be fair. Like, they could, I don't think they'll ever do this, but they could do like a prequel where it's about, a lot of people talked about how cool it would be to play a game where it's like Joel and his brother surviving and seeing like a totally different aspect of their characters, which I agree that would be really cool. But you're saying Joel is the reason The Last of Us even became popular? I wouldn't say it's just Joel alone. Like, it is Joel and Ellie. It is. Like, it is the dynamic between them and the contrast. I mean, it's like, in a way, again, it's like a timeless aspect where you have a father-daughter situation, right? And they work with each other, but they're so vastly different, but there's something that unifies them. And I don't know. I'm not saying that doesn't exist for characters like Abby and Lev. But it's the thing that was weird to me here. Listen, here's the weirdest thing about The Last of Us Part 2, without ranting about it and shitting on it. It just really is weird to me. I got this feeling by the time I finished that game that Abby and Lev were basically just replacements for Joel and Ellie. And that is what made me go, I don't like this, because we didn't need replacements. I don't give a shit that Abby murdered Joel because he murdered her father. I don't even give a shit that they murdered him in the beginning of the game. I mean, yeah, it was shocking because he does show up at other places in the game. But what really just did it in for me is that you're going on this revenge-fueled journey with Ellie alone. And Ellie is obvious, like, Ellie is not the Ellie we got in the first game. You know, it's not. And that's fine. I don't know that I was expecting that. You know, she grew up and, you know, it's just that she fucked up big time. She did. Like, that's the main takeaway, in my opinion, from The Last of Us Part 2. She just fucked her life up, like, more than she ever had to. And I understand that the purpose of the story is to tell you that revenge is not good. Nihilism, it's all for nothing. I get it. We're coming full circle. I understand the story, and I can appreciate those themes. But it just drove me nuts that it's like, we need you to play as this character, and we're just essentially replacing Joel and Ellie with these 2 new characters. And I understand that these 2 new characters, they have their own stories, they have their own journeys, and I'm not even saying that they're even that uninteresting in some cases, but it's just like, why does it have to come at the expense of the 2 characters that got me to even give a fuck about this franchise in the first place? You know, and that is what killed me about that game. Is it's just like, it's fine, like, that's the road you went down, that's the story you chose to tell. And, you know, yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, it's still, it lives rent free in my head. No, well, I mean, it's relevant to the conversation today, but it's just, you know, the thing I hate most about The Last of Us Part 2 isn't the story. It isn't the characters. It isn't Abby. The thing I hate the most about The Last of Us Part 2 is what it has done, is the conversation surrounding it. If you don't like it, you're just a little bitch crybaby. Right? if you do love it, then it has to be a fucking one of the greatest things ever created masterpiece. And I fucking hate that because it's like both of that, like that. Listen, that game, no matter what, is more than both of those things. It is. Like, no matter, and maybe that, if that was the goal of that game, then mission accomplished. But the game is not, it cannot just be spoken of as, yes, The Last of Us Part 2, an absolute masterpiece. It's more than that. It's not that simple. It's way more complex than that. But it also can't be spoken as, man, The Last of Us Part 2, a fucking pile of trash. It's more than that, too. It's not either of those things. It's not. And I think, if anything, a game like The Last of Us Part 2, more than anything, I think just proves that it is difficult for people to put their emotions aside when they feel passionate about certain things and just have, again, rational, rational, common sense discussions about things, because it's just, somebody could sit here and say, like, MBG, I disagree with you entirely because Abby and Lev were better characters than Joel and Ellie. And it's like, I'm not going to condemn somebody for saying that, be like, you fucking take that back. How dare you? Like, no, if that's your opinion, and that's fine. And, good for you. But that's not going to make me change my opinion and make me suddenly just be like, yeah, you're right, I'm wrong, the game's a masterpiece. Like, no, Joel and Ellie are way more interesting characters, in my opinion. They were written in a much better way. And the most important thing to me about Joel and Ellie's characters is they were not forced. They were not. They weren't forced. The twists and the turns that they took were natural. And the only thing that was forced was the end of The Last of Us 1. And that is arguably what made it so memorable. So I understand why, again, in the sequel, they were like, we gotta force again. We have to inject something forcefully into the story of this game to evoke intense emotion. And I get that. And it worked. It clearly worked, like I said. But you're saying you like that Joel died by the rules of this world, no magic plot shield. Yeah, dude, I will say the way in which Joel died, putting Abby's character aside, because I think the thing that I thought was really well done in that game was the way that they killed him, in the sense that, yeah, they did not fucking, like, yep, there is no plot armor here. Like, he's just a dude and he got his fucking skull crushed in. And the one part of that game that I thought Naughty Dog actually really did fucking nail, and I kind of if they make a third game and they focused on Ellie, this is the part that I would actually be most interested in, because it is actually, it's, I guess maybe it's like relatable, but there was this part towards the ending of The Last of Us Part 2 when Ellie is having like severe PTSD and like just having flashbacks to like what she witnessed and what happened to Joel. I was like, that to me was really well done, because I actually really felt like I understand exactly how her character feels right now. Like, that shit was crazy. And they didn't really, I mean, I know that the entire game is for Ellie is focused around that, but I thought it was cool that they actually kind of showed that more real, grounded, like, shit like this fucks people up. And I guess in a way it's like, oh yeah, well, guess what? That's how Abby felt too. And I get that. I get all that. But I'm curious to see if they do. Apparently Naughty Dog is working on a new IP, but if they do continue Ellie's story, I'm really interested if that's more of the angle they're going to lean into, because I think that's actually like a pretty interesting angle to lean into. I don't know what that would mean for the entire story or gameplay wise, but it would be interesting to see, at the very least, like where Ellie goes now. But I do feel like Abby and Lev served their purpose in this story, and you know, everything, again, if you get to the end of The Last of Us Part 2, like, they serve their purpose. I don't really know what else. I guess they could go in other directions with them if they wanted, but it's like, it's very much a love-hate thing in a way, because there are a lot of things that I do respect about The Last of Us Part 2. You know, I do respect a lot of what Naughty Dog did in the sense that they are experts at their craft. Like, they are in a lot of ways unrivaled. They are. And that's why I can't take this stance with Naughty Dog where it's like, fuck them, I'll never support them again, because it's like they have too much talent. Like, there's so few studios that are that talented anymore that it feels impossible for me to just forsake them entirely. But at the same time, I am a little bit hesitant, you know. I'm certainly more hesitant than I was previously, because I really, again, like, I just was not expecting where they went with The Last of Us Part 2. But it's like, if they're doing a new IP, I'm interested to see, okay, well, like, it's a fresh start. What are you guys going to do? You know? So, yeah. You're saying Joel's death was completely unbelievable. He had survived for years by being overly cautious. He never would have let them get into that position. I call bullshit. You know, I see, that's the thing about it. Is it's like, if you think about it, I feel like what they did with Joel, they did in a way give him not a hero's death, but they gave him an honorable death. And I know that might sound crazy to people, like, what? But think about it. Like, again, this is why I say my problem isn't that they killed Joel, or even the way that they kill him. Like, I mean, actually, even if what you're saying is true, is like, oh, it's unbelievable. But what they achieved with Joel is they made him a good guy. And that I am appreciative of to an extent, where they kind of redeemed him in that moment. It's just unfortunate that it had to come at such a high price, where they were like, okay, look, you're saying that was not honorable, that was disrespectful. I mean, I'm not so much focused on the fact that he got his cranium golf clubbed. I mean, it's not a great way to go. Definitely not. I mean, I felt sorry for the guy. I mean, that's fucking, you know, I will say this. At least he gave, at least Joel gave Abby's father a fucking swift death. She couldn't do that for him. I think that's bullshit, but I guess that is kind of real, right? Where it's like, she fucking slowly beat him to death after blowing his fucking knee out with a shotgun. You know, it's just like, you could have just shot him in the head and get it fucking over with, and there, you got your fucking revenge. You know, so as far as I'm concerned, Abby is a shitty person. Like, I don't. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe that was what they were trying to go for too. I'm not sure, but I guess what I mean to say is this: is Joel saved Abby. That's the point. Like, Joel saved her, and when you say that, it's unbelievable because he spent so much time being cautious, and I guess it's like, you're right. He did, but I guess maybe this was like a time where he said, and I guess it's just fucking super bad luck, where it's like, I'm not going to be so cautious. I'm going to try to save these people and help them, and you know, not look like, not be so cynical, right? And like, he ended up paying a crazy price, you know. Like, y'all know Joel isn't real, right? Yeah, but of course, we all know that. But it's interesting, you know, these characters, I think that they may not be real, but they definitely have an impact, I think, on people. Certainly, in the stories. So in other words, it teaches you not to help people. Exactly. Or you get your fucking skull crushed in. He's real to me, damn it. Yeah. No, I guess I'm just saying, the only thing because they could have, I don't think they disrespected Joel's character, if I'm being just totally 100%. I don't think they disrespected Joel's character. I just think they disrespected the story. Like what the series, like, I don't know. Maybe it's unfair for me to say that because I'm not the creator of The Last of Us. It's not, I guess it's not my place to say this is what the story should be and what this game series should be about. It's not my place. I'm not the creator. But I guess I just felt like the direction that they ended up going in, I just couldn't do it, man. I'm like, I can't why? And holy shit. Oh my God, we have Michael coming in out of nowhere. Michael Werneth. He just casually stops by and says, oh, hey, MBG and company. Here's 50 memberships. Oh my, I gotta do it. Where's it at? Hold on. I saved this for a 50 bomb. Where is it? Here we go. Let me know, guys, I need the chat to let me know as you're flowing with the W's. Let me know if this plays, okay? Is it playing? Metal Gear should be playing right now. Minute-long theme. If it's not playing. Damn it, Michael. I'm sorry. Why is it not playing? I think I have to manually trigger it. Damn it, I deflated the moment. I know, I'm so Why? Why is it not playing? I'm trying to have a celebratory moment here with Michael dropping a 50 bomb and it's screwing me over. Let me try one more time. Fuck, I'm so annoyed. It's not playing it, is it? Damn it. I apologize, Michael. This moment was supposed... You're saying you're a multi-thousandaire. Well, dude, Michael, I really appreciate it, man. I'm going to have to give you a bunch of other sound bites here.
Holy
Actually, guys, let me know if the sound bites are actually playing. Because my software has been glitching out like crazy today. But seriously, Michael, absolutely fucking huge dropping a 50 bomb like that. That is insane, man. So just like that, guys, just like that, if you're hearing the trophy sound popping, that's all the memberships being given out. Michael, dude, I don't know if you've been here this whole time or not, but this is a good time for me to let you know because you just dropped 50 membership gifts. 50 memberships. Which I'm just mind blown right now. We're doing, a new legend is born. Seriously, we're doing a new thing for members called the Members Lounge, and I just feel like I definitely have to tell you about this because you just dropped 50 on us. That you just gave access to the Members Lounge to 50 more people. We're doing a Members Lounge after this stream, and we're going to be doing them multiple times a week after the regular streams. So honestly, what a great time to drop a 50 bomb on the community, man. He just brought us up to 82 members. 82 members on the day. That is absolutely huge. I really cannot thank you enough. I'm not even finished reading the super chats. Michael, man, that's I'm just shocked because I just wasn't expecting it, like a 50 bomb to just drop out of nowhere. So yeah, dude, that's not, I mean, again, just a great opportunity for me to point out that people like Michael, who are, I know not everybody can drop 50 bombs, certainly not, but people like Michael who are, dropping these massive amounts of memberships, and those of you who are gifting 5 and 5 and 5 and 5, and even just those of you who are gifting individuals at a time, it all goes into funding the channel, supporting the channel, and making these streams possible. And I cannot thank you enough, man. I'm very humbled. This community is just so kind. It's amazing stuff to see. So I'm going to update the member goal here, and I am going to get to the super chats because I've let them slip. I'm getting into conversations about the story of The Last of Us Part 2 again. I got to reel that in because I'll just sit here and talk for hours about it. So 82 members just like that, guys. Incredible. I feel like I should give one more soundbite here. Which soundbite? Michael, what soundbite do you want, man? You let me know. I got a Mark Cerny. I got a Jim Ryan still. I got a Jin Sakai. I got a Venom. Got a Kratos. The nuke. I know. I got to. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to figure out what went wrong here with the seeing with the Mark Cerny, the true hero.
It's dangerous.
And Mark
to rely
Cerny,
on
you shall get.
teraflops as an absolute indicator
Mark
of
Cerny, you shall get. I got to see if I can find another Mark Cerny quote. All of them. Dude, I would, but I feel like it's just going to be too chaotic. I can't do that. I can't mix the sound bites together. The last time I did that, my stream got flagged because it thought I was playing a song. That actually has happened multiple times in the past. Saying try it now. I pressed the trigger, but it's not triggering. So I owe Michael a Metal Gear. Yeah, my streaming software is glitching out. God, it's been doing that more often lately. Yeah, I couldn't use the nuke sound either because that got flagged as well. So, really appreciate all the support, guys. Let me see here. We have 18 May. 18 May says, Sony has such an amazing back catalog, even Naughty Dog. Why not remaster Uncharted 2? Why remaster such recent games? Yeah, that's... You know what it probably is? See, I want to reiterate that it says, Jordan Midler VGC says, from what I was told from one person, this was more of a project for new hires to get them in the game. Druckmann's team is full steam ahead on an original game. One doesn't take away from the other. I think it's because it requires minimal work, dude. You're saying there's a new report about Wolverine? Okay, we'll save that. We'll save that. We were just talking about Wolverine. Maybe that could be tomorrow's topic. We could focus a whole stream on talking about Wolverine and new info. Because, sometimes when reports like this come out... Ooh, this sounds really good. Yeah, we're going to talk... Dude, we're definitely going to talk about this tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow, guys. Please. I'm looking forward to this conversation. See, that's another thing, too. I want to try to keep these streams a little bit more focused. I mean, we naturally are going in all different directions at any point in time. But I want to wait a little bit because a lot of times when we get reports that come out like this, in the next 24 hours, more information usually comes out, So I have a lot to say about this report. So I'll save it for tomorrow. Dude, this is just so funny to me. I'm just on the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit. I just see this post. Unused lines for Mr. Krabs have been leaked for Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl 2. That is what a crazy what a crazy thing to read. So 18 May, I'm in agreement with you, man. I would like to see these older titles that are more deserving of remasters get it, but I think it's just simply because if they do have new people, new hires working on these remasters, it's minimal. I don't say minimal work, but just it's not as difficult. Because if you want to remaster something like Uncharted 2 for the PS5, it's probably a lot more complicated in some ways than just doing something like The Last of Us Part 2. We have Sax Max 529, who says it should be noted that there is already a free 60 FPS patch for The Last of Us 2 on PS5. Yeah, that is true. And that to me is what makes this remaster certainly come off as a little bit more bizarre. Because again, I always knew they were going to want to resell it. And I do feel like this is mainly for the HBO show and people who are not familiar with the franchise. Because this whole horde mode that they're doing, the no return mode, for as cool as it sounds, I think people may have forgotten that for Sony Bend and Days Gone got a free PS5 patch that made the game run better. And it also got, and correct me if I'm mistaken, I think it got free DLC that was exactly what this is. It was like a horde-based mode where you get new abilities and you play as different characters. And I think it is just, again, it's one of those things where like I understand why Sony's going to try to extract money out of this, but it does make it look a little bit more worse when you realize that this is some stuff that other Sony studios have actually given out for free. So it's not like it's unprecedented, but it's just like, again, it kind of brings me back to that whole conversation of how angry am I going to get over $10, especially $10 that I'm not even going to be spending because I'm not playing it. But then again, Days Gone didn't get like the added commentary. It didn't get DualSense support. It didn't get, the behind the scenes levels and stuff like that. So I don't want to make it sound like I don't want to make it sound like you're not getting anything for the $10. Because you are getting stuff for the $10. It's just, I guess it just ultimately boils down to like, how is this stuff worth that $10 for you? Because it's clear that minimal work went into this. So definitely something worth pointing out there, Sax. We also have subtext with a $10 super chat saying, speaking of Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is not a typical remake. The end of that game is a promise of big changes and surprises. It's scared many original fans, but I appreciate the move given the current industry. 100% subtext, and absolutely something worth underlining here. When people, I do not count Final Fantasy VII. Like when people say, oh, we're getting too many remakes and remasters, because what you're saying is true. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is clearly going to have like major changes that people were not expecting. And in many ways, the game is going to feel brand new. Like they're doing new things to it. And like you're saying, some people are even a little bit scared about that, but I'm in the same boat that you are. Maybe it's easy for me to be in this boat because I didn't play the original. But I am also of the mind that, yeah, like I'd rather see them kind of change things up, shake it up a little bit. Hopefully it works out. But I'd rather see that than them just be like, we're just going to follow it note for note. Because that's exciting too. But I think it is more exciting with, again, given how good this remake is or what they've done so far. I think it is more exciting for the idea of like, maybe we can surprise you a little bit, So let's do it, man. I'm excited. I can't wait till February. It's gonna be an awesome month. Look, man, I'm still super, for as excited as I am about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I cannot wait to play Helldivers. I really want to know if this is gonna be like a solid first live service game from Sony. Because Helldivers 2 is clearly going to be a live service title. I hope it works out. So subtext, thank you so much for that, man. We also have Vincent, member for 4 months, saying, or they have nothing ready to show. Damn, dude. It could be possible. It could very much be possible that Sony just isn't revealing any games because they have nothing ready to show. Maybe something Sony has been trying to avoid, and I would respect them for this if this is the cause of it. If Sony is like, we just don't want to do like 30-second teasers, I can respect that. If that's why they're taking so long, because they're like, look, when we announce something like Ghost of Tsushima 2, we want to have something of substance to show, to give the best first impression and get people as excited as possible. I would respect that. Because it is true that they could announce anything they want at any time with a teaser trailer, but I don't think that gets people too excited anymore, It doesn't get me excited. Like, if they were to just do, like, a splash screen for, like, you're saying my camera's doo-doo. I know, guys, I know. I don't know what's wrong with it right now. I have to, like, reset my PC when the stream's finished. My camera's just, let me see. Resolution. It says my resolution is 1080p and my output is 60 FPS. So it's clear something is not translating well. Something's wrong. Get a 4K 60 FPS camera. So the reason why I haven't invested in a 4K camera is because I couldn't do my streams at 4K. I always use the ultra low latency setting on YouTube. So that way, the back and forth between me and the chat is as instantaneous as possible. In order to stream in 4K, it would create like probably a good 20 to 30 seconds of lag between what you guys are saying in the chat and when you hear me respond to it. So it's capped out at 1080p for that reason. But what Vincent is saying here could be true. He's not saying that Sony doesn't have new games, that just none of them might be ready to show. And again, Occam's Razor tells you that's actually the case. Cypherpunk says, did you see the Jez Corden tweet about Xbox about to leapfrog Sony for the first time? LOL, only took $70 billion to achieve it. Yeah, well, that's the thing is it's like, well, first off, I don't really use Twitter anymore, and I think I'm blocked by him anyway for some reason. I mean, if that's what he said, I can only assume that he said that in a like a celebratory way, like Microsoft is now going to leapfrog Sony for the first time, and it's like, yeah, but is that really worth being that excited about when you look at how they had to achieve that? It's like, I'm not saying it's unfair. There's no such thing as fair in this conversation. This is business. Microsoft can do whatever the fuck they want with their money. It's business. But it's like, in terms of just celebrating and bragging, it's like, I mean, I get it. I get it. Yeah, he literally works for Microsoft. Yeah, he works at Windows Central. I mean, it's like, well, fuck, man. Okay. I don't think Windows Central's like, I don't know if they have any connection to Microsoft, like, officially. They probably don't. Because I don't think anybody would listen to anything Jez Corden says if they did. At least you would hope not, because that would be kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, look, let's make something clear. Okay, let's make something clear. This is the only way Xbox could ever leapfrog Sony. And I'm not saying that in a fanboy way. That is just the truth. There was no chance that Microsoft they would have no chance of leapfrogging Sony, or even, even matching Sony without buying Activision Blizzard. Let's not forget what Microsoft told the regulators. Okay, Microsoft literally pulled out pie charts showing how dominated they were by Sony. And they literally said, Microsoft's president literally said, we need this to survive, let alone compete. So, I mean, if that gets people excited, like, oh shit, Microsoft just paid $68 billion for Activision, now they're about to leapfrog Sony. If that's what gets you excited, good for you, man. I have no problem with that. But that doesn't get me excited. That just sounds like, okay. And then if Sony buys Take-Two Interactive, now they're going to leapfrog Microsoft again. How exciting. That's not fucking exciting. It's crazy. It's fucking wild is what it is. But that's not exciting. You know what would be exciting? Hellblade 2 getting a fucking 95 on Metacritic and being heralded as one of the best video games ever made, and getting Microsoft prestige, goodwill. Suddenly people are very excited about their single player games because holy shit, they've reached a new level of quality that we've never seen from them. Now that's exciting. We bought a smaller indie studio and we grew them and we gave them time, and they produced quality, and that quality is now speaking on our behalf. That's exciting. But that remains to be seen. So, let me see here. We have Cobb Sanity. Cobb Sanity says, question MBG. I got a feeling that you said Fractions, but you meant Factions 2 was supposed to come with The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, but Bungie put a stop to that. That is something we should mention, and I actually meant to bring this up earlier. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that The Last of Us multiplayer was supposed to be I don't think it was supposed to be included with this, but I think it was supposed to have some kind of like exclusive beta access. Like if you pre-ordered it, you get early access to the multiplayer beta. Just something to sweeten the deal a little bit. And maybe you get like bonuses when the game releases. Like if you bought The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, you get like some character skins or just some type of bonuses when the game launches. I absolutely think that was supposed to lessen the anger and frustration of this. But yeah, I mean that to me it's obvious that Naughty Dog was mismanaged. And I don't say that lightly. Sony is not known to mismanage their studios, especially their bigger studios. Um, but it's obvious that something went fucking wrong. You know, like they put their money on a live service multiplayer Last of Us game, and it's not dead. They're like a developer confirmed they're still working on it. But when I say it's mismanaged, I'm saying it's obvious it's mismanaged because we were supposed to see this game by now. I'm not even saying it was supposed to be out yet, but we were supposed to see it and we were supposed to be excited for it. And this game, this multiplayer game, was supposed to make us a lot less angry at this Last of Us Part 2 remaster. But something went wrong. We didn't see the game. We don't know when or if we're going to see it anytime soon. And instead, we just are seeing The Last of Us Part 2 remastered. So it happens. Sony's not perfect. They're not invincible. You know, they're susceptible to mismanaging studios at times. And I think in this case, it happened, and it doesn't mean they can't correct it. They already did. But I think we're seeing kind of the result of, and this is all Naughty Dog has to show right now. This is all they have to show. And I think that's, yeah. So Cobb Sanity, good point out, or good call out there. We also have Samson with a $5 super chat saying, what GPU do you have in your PC? I don't know why I said GPU like that, in your PC. As a PS5/PC gamer, I'm just curious. I upgraded my CPU, but still use 6-year-old 1080i GPU. I need to upgrade soon, LOL. I know I have I have an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060. That's the GPU my PC uses. So I'm pretty sure, I think that's pretty good. Again, I don't really pay too close attention to the PC component market, but I think that's a good GPU. Certainly enough to do some quality gaming, you know, if I wanted to. I think people would say I'm underutilizing my PC. I don't know, though. I stream a lot, so. But Samson, yeah, hopefully that answers your question. You're saying a 6-year-old 1080 Ti. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how that's working for you. I assume that's probably beginning to struggle, if it isn't already. I assume that's probably beginning to struggle if you're gaming on PC. And I think the PS5 is definitely better than that, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, 3060 is what I got. I don't use my PC for gaming, at least not right now. In the future, I might. I definitely might in the future, but you're saying that 3060 should be stronger than the current gen system still. That's kind of funny to think. But yeah, I still prefer to just play on my PS5. But Samson, I appreciate the super chat, man, and I appreciate the question as well. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know, maybe it would be worth upgrading to a 3060 or higher. I know that the 480 is out now. Yeah, something like I don't know. I don't really keep up with it. But either way, thank you for the super chat. We have Doolin Jones. He says, as much as I would have liked to see the director's cut come out for PS5 personally, but this sounds absolutely perfectly like a perfectly remastered game on PS5. I'm totally sold for it. New survivor mode and etc. Really excited. See, that's the thing, man, is like I have seen plenty of people express actual excitement for this remaster. Like just genuine excitement where they're like, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this. And I just can't be the guy. I can't, like, to just say, no, don't be excited. Or how could you be excited? I get it, man. Like, again, I may not enjoy the story of The Last of Us Part 2 that much, but there are many qualities about The Last of Us Part 2 that I respect and I think are well worth praising. And out of everything here, that no return mode actually sounds pretty cool because I really, really enjoyed the combat of The Last of Us Part 2. The reason why I'm not going to play it, though, is because it just feels too painful. It does. It just feels too painful where it's like, it's just giving me a feeling of this is kind of what The Last of Us multiplayer could have been like, giving us a glimpse of it, and knowing that we might never see it. It just, it's painful, man. I mean, I'm not saying it's literally painful. I just mean like the only thing I'll be thinking about is what could have been. What could have been. So, Doolin Jones, regardless of anything, man, enjoy it. Enjoy it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you you can't have fun. You can't look forward to this. Dude, I have a friend who's was just talking to me about this. He's looking forward to it. He just platinumed The Last of Us Part 2 on his, I think he played it on his PS5, and he was very late to it, and he didn't even buy, like, his friend let him borrow the game, and even he said, like, yeah, I'm gonna buy it full price when it comes out and do it again, or play the extra content. I'm like, more power to you, man. That's the thing that I think a lot of people also don't understand when we have these conversations, is something I didn't speak to this entire time is, what about the people who don't give a fuck about the internet discussions and the comment sections and the ratios? What about those people? What about the people who are just like, oh, sweet, The Last of Us. Yeah, he's a glutton for punishment. The Last of Us Part 2. What's really funny? He just told me he uninstalled Forza, by the way, which was crazy. Like, I couldn't fucking believe this dude, he went from being an Xbox guy. He was originally a PlayStation person, but he went to Xbox, and he went like full into Xbox, full into Game Pass, massive Forza fan, to just the other night he was telling me how he actually uninstalled Forza, and he just played The Last of Us Part 2, and he's like going to replay the Uncharted games and whatnot. And I'm like, well, damn. Sony did something. I don't either. Sony or Microsoft, somebody did something to make him go back to PlayStation, and you'll love to see it, But I was really surprised. I was really surprised when he said that he uninstalled it. By the way, guys, we have over 400 people here right now. I want to ask you all right now, please hit that like button. Okay? We are on the cusp of hitting 300 likes. I want to see if we can get to a better ratio, because we got haters out here. We got fucking haters that come in and are like, yo, I'm a mass dislike MBG stream. It's like, fine, I appreciate the engagement, but I know the point is, I know we can do better. All right? So I just want to encourage anybody who really does enjoy these streams, make sure you hit that like button. All right? It does help. So let me see here. We got King Sam, who says, lost interest in Alan Wake 2. I've seen a lot of people saying it's just a walking sim, very boring. Wasn't a fan of Alan Wake 1. Might get it if it's really cheap. I mean, I can understand why a person would lose interest in Alan Wake 2. I can understand that, because it is a very slow-paced game. It is extremely slow-paced. And a lot of what keeps you on the hook for Alan Wake 2 is not actual gameplay. It is like kind of weird twists and turns in the story and trying to uncover what might be happening here, or explain what's happening. And so I don't blame anybody for feeling that way. I did complete Alan Wake 2. It's crazy because there's like 63 trophies in Alan Wake 2 or something like that. And I think I have like 55 of them. And I was looking at the trophies that I would have to get the platinum, and I just couldn't do it. It's too much backtracking and too much trying to find like these little puzzles and stuff that I missed. And I'm just like, it would be nice to have the platinum, but it just kind of annoyed me, because it's like, my God, man, you could have just taken these trophies out and just made it 50 trophies even, mainly for mostly story stuff, where it would have made it very hard to not obtain the platinum. I would have appreciated that more, because I'm sitting at 55 trophies feeling like I feel like I should have the platinum. Like, that's a lot of trophies, man. But I don't know. And I see Anonymous Boss is trying to figure out PS5 Pro with a secret kill zone in the making. Imagine. My opinion on that, PS5 Pro 100% kill zone. I don't think so. I would love a secret kill zone game. I don't think it's happening. I don't think so. I'm sorry, man. Sorry to burst your bubble. I'd be shocked, but I don't think a secret kill zone game is happening. King Sam, I appreciate the super chat though, man. And yeah, Alan Wake 2. So I thought Alan Wake 2 storytelling was pretty good. Excuse me. And there's nothing quite like it. I'm getting hiccups. But it left something to be desired. I don't want to spoil anything, and this isn't going to spoil anything, but it does. I felt as I put more and more time into Alan Wake 2 that, like, okay, the ending is going to be worth it. The payoff is going to be there. And I honestly felt like it was not. And like out of everything in that game, that made me kind of take a step back and be like, damn, I was not satisfied with that ending at all. And I'm not saying it was even a bad ending. It's just I did not expect to be left feeling that way. That's all. So, yeah. We have Dark Demon Media, a member for 8 months. He says PlayStation has late games and all their generations of systems since the PS2. PS1 was the outlier because they had all the third-party deals at the beginning. Yeah, that's what I'm really curious to see, Dark Demon Media. I want to see what the last half of this generation looks like, because something tells me that the last half of this generation is going to be way stronger than the first half. And I could be wrong, but I just get that feeling in it, because I think you're right. We've kind of seen that. It's kind of cyclical at this point, where it's clear that Sony greenlights a bunch of new projects towards the very end of a generation going into a new one, and it takes about the first half of that generation before those projects reach the finish line. And I think we're going to see that happen again. We have Devilac47, a member for 6 months, who says Logan will be killed and the next game will be the girl Wolverine. LOL. Oh, I mean, I don't think they can't do that. Like, I think it's obvious the Wolverine game is going to be successful, but they can't kill him off like that. Stop giving me reasons to stress, Devilac. He's stressing me out. No, I'm just kidding, man. Doolin Jones with another super chat says, I've played Uncharted 4 and 2 on my PlayStation Portal. It's so good, man. Both are the greatest games of all time. Would love to have a new Uncharted 5, but that it's rumored to be by another team or studio that's not Naughty Dog. Yeah, so that's the big question about a new Uncharted game. There is no doubt a new Uncharted game in the works. But I just do wonder, like, how people are going to receive it when they realize it's not being done by Naughty Dog. Like, it's a new mainline Uncharted game, maybe starring his daughter or something, but it's not being done by Naughty Dog. I really wonder how people are going to respond to that. But Doolin Jones, I'm really happy to hear you're enjoying your PlayStation Portal. I mean, people are acting like straight up weirdos over this device, man. Like, people are trying so hard to hate on Sony for the Portal, and it's like, you guys are trying too fucking hard. You are. Like, there are things you can hate on Sony for that I'd say, okay, I can kind of understand that. But people who are trying to hate on the Portal are just take it down a notch, man. You're trying way too hard. There's nothing to hate. There's definitely something to be not interested in. Oh, wow. This optional accessory device that Sony's selling that I don't have to buy and that makes no impact on my life. I mean, come on, man. I don't get people who are hating on it. You're saying, let's be real, MBG, the Portal is pointless. Everything's pointless. If you want to get into the weeds, man, what isn't pointless? Don't make me go there, Jamal. I'll do it. I'll go there. I'll get philosophical on your ass. No, look, I think that's totally fine though. Like if you say I think the portal is pointless, I think that's a perfectly valid opinion. Of course. If that's how you feel about, but then I hear another person like Doolin Jones who says, "Yo, I've been playing Uncharted 4 and 2 on my PlayStation Portal and it's really good." Omen86 was in here the other day saying he fell asleep playing this Portal in bed. So it's like I don't know that I can agree that it's totally pointless. If that's how you feel about it, I'm not going to argue, but I don't know that I could agree with it. That's all. But I'm happy to hear that, Dolan. We have Hicksock here. He says the Game Awards boycotted Hogwarts nomination. You know why? Yes. So, Hicksock, I'm going to refer you to my last stream. Hellbound says he likes the Portal. There you go. Hellbound's enjoying it. I want to refer you to my last stream where I went on a rant about Hogwarts Legacy not being nominated for anything and how it's just total bullshit. It is. It's just total bullshit. Like, I get it. I get why it's not, but it doesn't make it not bullshit. It is bullshit. Saying, Hicksock says the Game Awards lost all respect in my eyes. I'll be real with you, man. The Game Awards never had my respect. You know why? It's because the Game Awards to me are just something that's meant for reveals. I would be lying to you if I said I tuned in because I cared about the awards themselves. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate the celebration. I appreciate acknowledging the devs. I appreciate the winners feeling good. It's a night for them. But I always knew that there was more to it, and this proves it. The Game Awards are not about celebrating the art that is video games. Because if it was, Hogwarts would be included. And it's not. It's picking and choosing based off of political alignment and agendas and fucking cancel culture and the whole 9 yards. And I think it's just bullshit. Because if this night was about celebrating the hard work of developers, it would be acknowledged that, yeah, the Hogwarts Legacy development team, that's a lot of devs. It's a massive AAA game, and a lot of years of hard work went into it. We're just going to ignore them? We're just going to pretend they don't exist? I hate that fucking picking and choosing bullshit when you're trying to simultaneously come out. Like, listen, if Jeff Keighley flat out came out and said, we pick and choose, and we're choosing not to include Hogwarts, I would respect him for that, because I'd say, you know what? At least you have the balls to fucking call it what it is. You're picking and choosing. I would respect you saying it for what it is. I wouldn't respect it for what it is. But they won't. But I have zero respect for we just don't acknowledge it, and we just don't talk about it, and we just pretend it doesn't exist. I fucking hate that shit, man. I hate that. Like, that really gets under my skin. And so I guess you could say I did lose respect. Whatever little micro amount of respect I would have had for the Game Awards is not there. And like, it just doesn't. The Game Awards for me are there for two reasons: to cause heated debates and discussions between people, and two, for game announcements. And Kojima. Three, we could throw Kojima in there as a third. Okay, that's the Game Awards to me. That's it. And that's what it's always been. That's what it always will be. And if it was ever, if there was any chance that the Game Awards would, rise to a higher level of prestige and respect, that's out the window at this point. I know. Yeah. So you're saying Jeff doesn't decide what games are nominated, the panel does. I guess what I mean to say is, if Jeff said it's clear that the panel likes to pick and choose, then yeah. Like, it's clear that the panel is allowing, politics to interfere with whether or not we reward developers' hard work. Well, really quick, I know somebody in the chat is going to remember this, and I need your help. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but weren't people calling out Jeff Keighley to like call out Activision or something? And I can't remember if he actually did or not. Who makes the panel? Yeah, that's where I don't dive deep enough into it. I like, that's the thing. I'm not saying the hate should go towards Jeff, but it's going to no matter what, because he is the host. He's the face of the Game Awards. But I remember people were calling him out to call out Activision. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. And I forget. But I remember people were saying, like, you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to acknowledge it. Did he ever do it? Does anybody even remember? I can't remember. I feel like he didn't. Or maybe he did. I don't know. Subtext says from the site, quote, nominations for the Game Awards are selected by a voting jury of 100 leading media and influencer outlets across the media. Oh, well, there you go. There you go. Dude, I think the games media needs to be dismantled. It does. MBG, do you agree about the Golden Joystick nominations? I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to it. I think the games media needs to be dismantled, though. Because that's insane. If like the 100 leading media and influencer outlets, so you're telling me none of them, they all are just refuse. I mean, you're talking about some of the same fucking outlets that refuse to give a review on Hogwarts Legacy, which is fine. That's within their right. But I'm supposed to fucking take you seriously? Are you kidding me? Yeah. It's weird. See, it's weird when we talk about games media, because this is where it's like, I honestly, I hate when I get roped into the game. I have to play the game sometimes. Like, oh shit, look at the fucking Metacritic score for God of War Ragnarok. And I hate playing that fucking game where it's like it matters when it matters and when it doesn't matter when it's convenient. And I'm not perfect. I don't fucking sit here and pretend that I haven't been roped in with this shit. I have. But as time goes on and the more clearly I see it, the more fucking annoying it gets. It's like, can we just like stop with the bullshit? Like, can we just stop with the bullshit for once? You know? All right, let me see here. We got Michael Werneth also drops a super chat and says, MBG, don't you get tired of a hero's tale where the good guys always win? I mean, I guess so, yeah. I actually don't have a problem with stories where the bad guys win. I don't know. I guess it's I'll be brutally honest with you right now in that you say, do I ever get tired of it? I don't know that I do. And you know why? Because, man, reality sucks ass. You know? Like, it's not so much that I expect like a fucking, everything sunshine and rainbows at the end of the day. No, but it's like, dude, the real world and real life is fucking depressing. Like, it is morbidly depressing and I can't stand it. And I try to avoid having to look at it and stare at it for too long because it's ugly and it's hideous. And it's not all bad. Like, there are good things, of course, but maybe it's just the lens that I'm viewing it through. But truthfully, it's like when I fucking go to have you know what it reminds me of? Are you guys familiar with the Cormac McCarthy story, The Road? I don't know if you read the book or watched the movie. And like that movie, like that book and that movie, like fucked me up a little bit. because it like I don't. It was like maybe the time in my life, my situation, but it like had a profound impact on me. And it, even though like the story ended, I'm not gonna spoil it, but like it didn't have the happiest ending, but it didn't have the worst ending. It was kind of this like in between where it's like it wasn't the greatest ending, but it could have been worse. And it gives you this just little kind of just a little glimmer of hope. And I thought it was because of that, it was a great ending where it's like it, I don't think I want to. I'm not a big fan of stories. Yeah, it was a practical ending. I'm not a big fan of stories where it's like, man, I just, wow, there is no hope, and life really does suck that much. I hate that because it's like that's real, and I know that's real. I don't need the media I consume, the stories that are told. I don't need that to remind me that that's real. If I want to see that, I can just look out my fucking, well, maybe not out my front window, but I could just turn on the news. I could, just go scroll the internet and I get a real nice glimpse of, you want to know what's real? Here's what's real. How's it look? It looks fucking disgusting. That's how it looks. And so I guess I can't help but admit that I do tend to lean more towards things that can just kind of give me, again, not the feeling of everything's great and we live in fantasy world and sunshine and rainbows, but just something that doesn't have to be totally fucking hopeless, That's all. Like, even if the bad guy does win, you know that there's another good guy around the corner looking to balance it out. You know what I mean? Something like that, I guess. And I guess that's kind of what I look for, is just a more balanced type of story, where I don't mind if they lean more in one side or the other, but in this instance, we're talking about The Last of Us Part 2. The Last of Us Part 2, I think, is fine the way it ended, but it was very clear, like, the ending of The Last of Us Part 2 is to just show you, like, here's a broken person that ruined their life. End. And it's like, yeah, that happens. That's real. And it's brutal and it sucks, but that's it. That's it. That's the end. So, yeah, I guess you're right. You're saying The Last of Us Part 2 had a glimmer of hope. Ellie learns to forgive and learns to understand. Yeah, okay. Well, okay. I guess we could say that there is the potential that she could go on and actually, for however long she goes on to live, she could, learn from those mistakes, certainly. But I guess it just mean, like, for us, the viewer, the audience, we don't see any of that. We just see the consequences that are rendered, the result of those consequences, and then it ends. It goes black. And maybe one day we'll get a third game and we'll figure it out. But damn, actually. But yeah, it's just it gets me into like almost a philosophical state of mind when we talk about this stuff, because it's just like, I don't know. We all look for specific things in the stories we like to consume and we try to consume. I'm not a fan of like for example, Spider-Man 2 is too much for me. Like, that to me is like, whoa. I'm not. There's like too much positivity in not positivity, but like, I don't know how to describe it, but I think you guys know what I mean. Where it's like that, and I know that is Spider-Man, that's Miles, that's the universe. That's I get it. It makes sense, but it's one of these things where it's like, my favorite part of Spider-Man 2 was Venom, because Venom brought a little bit more balance to this story in the world, where like he is an enemy that is, just straight up snapping people's necks and breaking them in half. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty, that's cool to see. Not to say it's cool to see people getting their necks snapped and broken in half, but it's just a little bit more realistic, where it's like, yeah, if there was this like big giant fucking evil creature, I don't imagine them just like knocking people out. You know what I mean? like we see most of the time, or it was just a little bit darker, and it added a little bit more weight to what was otherwise very, like, very tame glimpse of this world, in Spider-Man 2. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me see here. We have Austin, member for 5 months, saying, "Fun times, bro. Thanks for the years of content. I think it would be fun to have a stream dedicated to Death Stranding lore while also analyzing the Death Stranding 2 trailer." I would, man, but that's the thing, is like Kojima has really reached the next level of just craziness and world building with the Death Stranding universe, to where it's like the most I feel comfortable like talking about and speculating about is like the the potential gameplay changes and whatnot. The lore, I mean, that's overwhelming, man. But I'm glad you enjoy the content, and thank you for being a member, bud. We have Edmore Lamba, who says, "Saying that Abby is a bad person is very clear at the beginning of her journey, but the question they want to raise is if she's that bad by showing her side. Does that work?" That's another question. I feel like I kind of understand what you're saying. Like, I understand what the story of The Last of Us Part 2, that Lev was supposed to act as the it was supposed to act as the turning point of how people view her character, where it's like, oh, look what she's doing for this person, that she, and like helping them and trying to like save them and whatnot. Not like save them, but working with them and just kind of showing like a good side. And that's the thing, is I understand that Abby is just just like every other person. Like, I got to see the horrifically evil side of Ellie, and I got to see the good side of Joel. I got to see the bad side of Abby, but also some glimpses of a good side. It's like, I get that. And that, like, it's just, to me, again, it's just, I guess it's just one of these things where it's like, I'm not necessarily interested. All right, let me put it to you this way. The game inserted a new character, and it wanted me to go through the motions with this character emotionally that I went through with Joel and Ellie. And I just think that the game was asking too much of me to do that, because it's like, well, I get what you're doing, and I understand like this challenge you're trying to, as a creative, like, what if we introduce this character, immediately make you hate them, and then by the end of it get you to actually side with them? It's like, I get that, but like, no, I don't care. Like, I know that this person who murdered Joel is not just a singular evil human being. And, when they would show the scenes where like young Abby with her dad trying to save the world, and I'm like, oh, give me a fucking break. Like, honestly, like, it shit just made me cringe, where I'm like, of course she's just the righteous one here, who's trying to cure the world. And Ellie's just the fucking selfish one, because, she has the cure, and she wasn't even Joel's the selfish one, because he stopped Ellie from sacrificing herself, and then Ellie isn't going to reproduce, and that maybe hinders any other chance, and blah blah blah. It's just like, I get it, man. Like, there's layers to people. I know that. I'm aware, but it's just, I don't fucking care about Abby's layers. Like, I don't care about that character. I just, as far as I'm concerned, if Naughty Dog's goal was to make me care about Abby as a character, they did fail, because it's just not going to happen. I'm just too attached to the characters of Ellie and Joel, and and I don't know, maybe it makes me a colder person to a degree, but it's like, frankly, I don't care like about Abby's struggle, because it's just like, listen, I get it, like, how many fucking people did I murder playing as Joel that had their own struggles and their own people that cared about them. Are they going to get their own stories too? No, they're not. Like, I know how this shit works. Everybody has, I get it. But I don't know. It is what it is, man. Like, I can't change what they did. Just speak to it. That's all. You're saying, honestly, I did sympathize with Abby, but not to the point of preferring her over Joel and Ellie. Yeah, I guess that's a better way to put it, like a nicer way to put it, because it's like, I understand, like, yeah, you have every reason to want to fucking murder the shit out of Joel. Why wouldn't you? I get it. Like, I'd feel the same way. But it's like, it really was how the game was like, we want you to see her side and feel for, and I guess I knew that it was trying to do that. And because I knew it was trying to do that, I just hated it. I was like, I know what you're doing, and this sucks. Like, I didn't think this is what I was going to spend this game doing, but what are you going to do? You're saying the game was an emotional roller coaster. I mean, yeah, it was definitely all over the place, for sure. You're saying I sympathize with her at the end after all that shit she went through. At that point, it was just like, come on, Ellie, let it go. I mean, I guess. Like, one of the most unrealistic things about that game, like, everybody wants to talk about how realistic it is that Abby killed Joel in a brutal way. Like, yeah, you're right. That's human beings right there. That's what we do. She wanted revenge, and she fucking got it. Sweet, sweet revenge. The thing that was the most unrealistic to me is when she let Abby go. Like, that would not happen. Like, that's not real life. Not even close. I'm not saying she would have, like, tortured her and made her suffer. She would have just killed her. She would have just said, I need, like, you can't stop this. You got yours. I'm fucking getting mine. That's what's so fucking stupid about that game. Like, I'm going to be real right now. Like, what makes The Last of Us Part 2 so fucking stupid is they put you through the fucking ringers, Ellie. Like, Ellie literally destroys a pregnant woman in this game in the name of revenge to just say, actually, never mind. That's fucking dumb. And that would never happen. That would never fucking happen. That's just, like, it drives me. Like, I'm not saying, like, yeah, I would have loved that game if she killed Abby. No, I wouldn't have loved it any more, any less. But I just at least would have walked away saying, like, her coming to the conclusion that it was all pointless after letting Abby live is wild. Like, no, dude. If that was who Ellie's character truly was, she would have stopped way sooner. That's what drives me nuts, is that a person in that position, when, like, Ellie, you're right, Ellie did, by the time Ellie had Abby right where she wanted her, where it's like, I finally got you, she sacrificed everything. She, again, murdered countless people. She lost Joel. She lost Dina, and their child that they were going to. She lost everything. A person doesn't, in that moment, say, you know what, never mind. It just doesn't work like that, dude. Like, she would have came to that conclusion after she killed Abby that, man, this was all not worth it. But it is so dumb that you go through a game like this where you are fucking murdering brutally countless people, but suddenly she has a conscience for this character. She didn't have a conscience for the fucking dude she blew up with a fucking pipe bomb or the pregnant woman she murdered. No, she has a conscience for the one person out of nowhere that she's supposed to kill, that she wants to kill. This is why I try to explain to people, and I know people get offended, but if you think The Last of Us Part 2 is written well, you don't know good writing, because it's not written well. It's good in the sense that it has an impact and it's shocking, but people who think that this is like, oh my God, this is so expertly crafted. No, it's not. It's not. The ending, if you wanted to have a real fucking ending, like, I mean, an actual well-written ending, that well-written ending would have ended with, you know what, even better. Even better. You want to really fucking show how people are? And you want to show a person reaching a complete breaking point? You know who Ellie would have killed? Not Abby, Lev. She would have killed Lev. And she would have fucking turned to Abby and she would have said, now we're even. Because it wasn't Ellie who fucking killed her father. But she would make a decision like that knowing like this is going to torture her even further. I'm just saying, man, like that's more realistic. That's more realistic. You know? You're saying that, Michael, you're saying this is where I disagree. I thought the writing was excellent. Well, don't get me wrong. The story has many moments where the writing is good. I don't mean, like, it's a broad stroke statement, like, to say that The Last of Us Part 2 is bad writing. The game, like, there are many parts of that game that are, again, excellently crafted and well written. But it's just, in my opinion, in these crucial, defining moments, I just unfortunately got the feeling that Neil and company were more focused on what could we do to just, oh, you didn't see that coming, did you? It's like, well, no, but I'm not sure that's is it? I didn't see that coming, but it's like, really? Like, really? Listen, here's something else I'll say. The ending for The Last of Us Part 2 would have worked better, in my opinion, if Ellie didn't take things as far as she did. Like, if they kind of showed, like, I know after she killed that pregnant woman, like, she was definitely shook. But what just didn't make fucking sense to me is, like, okay, she murdered this pregnant woman, not realizing she was pregnant. And they showed this scene in the game where she's fucking rocked, where she's like, oh my God, like, what did I just fucking do? And I was like, oh, like, that was a moment for me in that game where I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I literally was like, what the fuck? I was blown away. Like, I can't believe they actually crossed this line. But then what just drove me, again, it just made me go like, what is happening? Is like, it didn't, like, it's the fact that it didn't actually mean anything to Ellie. That's what bothered me, is it didn't actually mean anything to her, because she was just like, yeah, I'm fucking shook and I crossed the line, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna still go through with it anyway. And that I was like, okay, like, yes, you're saying fuck it, you came this far, see it through. But then she just drops it. Like, it just, whatever, man. It is what it is. I mean, hell, Neil got in my head. Neil Druckmann clearly got in my head. You know, I'm over here still reeling and thinking about it. You're saying the stream is stuttering again? I apologize, guys. I'm sorry. But you're saying you just wanted to kill Abby because you didn't like her. No. Like, that's the thing, is Abby did get hers. And to be honest, the only thing Abby gets to look forward to now is further suffering. And I could see that angle where, like, I don't know, if Ellie didn't let Abby go out of the kindness of her heart. She let her go because she's like, you know what? You being alive and having to survive out in this world is suffering for you. Sure, I get that, but it's I wouldn't have gotten any satisfaction out of Abby dying because it would, like, as far as I'm concerned, she already did die. You know, like they ruined her character at the end of that game by she got captured, she's starved, she's a shell, you know, like she's fucking ruined. And I do believe that, you know, maybe I could be wrong with this. I don't think they're going to pursue anything more with Abby going forward. So as far as I'm concerned, she already did that. I'm just saying it's like what just blew my mind is when it's like, so she just lets her go. Letting Lev go makes sense for sure. But to let Abby go after all that is like, it almost gives you a sense of Ellie believes she's redeemable. And that to me is the most unrealistic part of that. Not to keep going on, but it's just to explain myself further here. It's that it implies that there is some kind of redemption for either her or Abby, and there is not. And that's why I'm saying, like, in that moment, oh, like, so she realizes it's pointless. Yes, it is pointless. So is killing her is pointless. So is letting her live. Just so what I'm saying is, like, in that moment, what any person would do is just kill her. That's just how it would go. At that point, it's just more like 2 + 2 = 4. You know? I don't know. Probably overthinking it. Characters are not real. It's real to me, damn it. It's real to me, damn it. I honestly, I think this is a great time to have this discussion, though, truthfully, because you know, Last of Us Part 2, you know, we talked all about the remaster and that aspect of it, but it's nice to kind of delve into the story once again. You're saying it's not for herself, that's the point. Yeah, I guess. I guess I could see that side of it. It's just so hard for me to. It's just not believable. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I know. MBG, letting Abby go means Ellie let go of the hate. I know. I know what it represents. You don't have to tell me. I'm just saying it's just weird to me. Like I said, it's just weird to me that we're talking about the realism of a game and how Joel died and how, man, that's very real. Like, they didn't fucking hold, you know, they're showing the real human nature here. You know? It's like, yeah, you're right, they are. And then to just kind of go full swing and opposite in the, you know, swing in the other direction where it's like, but, you know, people let go of hate too. It's like, well, yeah, I know. Anyway, I don't know. I'll be curious to check the comments of this stream afterwards, you know? You're saying the writing gets it's in more of a poetic style. Yeah, I get, yeah, I guess you're right. The last thing I'll say is I guess that is truly where the ending of the second game and the ending of the first game truly differ. Is the ending of the first game is kind of the opposite, where there's nothing poetic about it. It's not it's not trying to tell you anything. It's actually just giving you an ultimatum, you know? And I think I appreciated that about the ending of the first game more because it's like, it leads to a more interesting discussion about human nature where it's like, was Joel right or was he wrong? And the great, like, I guess I just feel like with The Last of Us Part 2, believe it or not, it doesn't ask the question, like, was Ellie right or wrong? Like, no, Ellie was clearly fucking wrong. Like, the shit that she did. Like, obviously wrong. And so the only question it asks you is, well, was she right for letting her go? And it's like, what just gives me such a strange feeling is like, no. Like, no, I don't think so. It's like, goddamn. All this. Whatever, man. Whatever. I got some more super chats to read. Dude, I already know the top comment on the stream's gonna be like MBG having a meltdown over The Last of Us 2 again, or crying over The Last of Us 2, shaking my head. Yes, the answer is yes. All right, I just want to ask one question then. One question, and then I'm gonna move on. And I'm actually really, you know what? I'm gonna put out a poll really quick. Because I'm just curious, that's all. How do I want to word this? I don't know how to word that. So the question I'm trying to ask here is, do you like? I don't know why this is so hard to phrase. All right, this is the best way I could phrase it. Why? Hold on. Did I watch Uncut Gems? If you understood, loved and hated that the movie, then you should feel the same way about The Last of Us Part 2. It's realistic. They are both human stories. I actually did watch that movie. It was pretty good. But I get what you're saying there, right? Because that ending was pretty. Yeah, that ending was pretty abrupt. This is the question that I have. I'm just gonna ask, did Ellie letting Abby live redeem her? I'm just curious where you guys stand on this. You know what would have been a fucking wild ending for The Last of Us Part 2 is if Ellie died. That would have been fucking crazy. But I think that would have been too definitive, where it would have guaranteed that, okay, we can't do anything with a Part 3 now. But that would have been a crazy way to do it. Interesting results on this poll. All right, let me read these super chats. I'm sorry to keep you guys waiting. We have PS Gamer, who says, The Last of Us 2 has the best AI and gameplay of any third-person action-adventure game ever made. It is the next level in every aspect, despite the story. Even Microsoft admits that there's nothing like The Last of Us 2 on the market. I agree with that. I mean, dude, I'm like, we're talking about the story, but that's why I'm saying I can't write off Naughty Dog. I just can't. They're too fucking skilled, man. The gameplay of The Last of Us Part 2 is insanely good. It's insanely good. Which is why I'm so upset that the multiplayer game is not anywhere to be found right now. So I'm in a complete agreement with you, PS Gamer. It makes you wonder. It really does make you wonder, like, how much better it can get in these areas, considering that Naughty Dog is going to be working on a PS5 only title, trying to push the limit. So I appreciate the super chat, PS Gamer, and that's something I'm going to be paying close attention to when we see the next Naughty Dog game announced. MBG, can they continue The Last of Us with all new characters that have nothing to do with Joel, Ellie, and Abby? Yeah, I think they could. I think that would be a pretty cool thing to do, actually. Just start fresh. Why not? I think just the fear of that is the weight that The Last of Us holds, where it's like, at the very least, people are going to be expecting. I mean, they're gonna have a very high expectation for the characters, the storytelling, and the one reason why I do think that would be cool to see in maybe like the multiplayer game, but maybe a single player game wouldn't make too much sense, because I feel like people are gonna hold that up against The Last of Us 1, and I feel like, and 2 for that matter. Michael Werneth with another super chat saying the portal is not pointless. You're just too rich. If you only have one TV and the family wants to watch something, so you can't play the PS5, the Portal solves that. Dude, honestly, the amount of people I have seen basically saying that's why they're buying the Portal. You know, they have family that they live with and they're always kind of fighting the use of TV, or not fighting, but like, you know, taking turns. It's true. That is like a great solution for that. And I think there is something to be said for that. I think there might be more people out there that run into that problem than we may have thought, or that some people may have thought. Because believe me when I tell you, I have found a lot of people telling me that that's exactly why they're buying it. So you're saying that's pretty much the standard household good solution? Yeah. Dude, I bet you it's because this happened to somebody in Sony. Like they want to play on their PS5 and they're like finding it hard to do so. And they're like, why don't we have a device for this? And they probably told their engineers to start working on it. It's for engagement. For $200, you can get another TV. That's true. That is true. But I don't know. Then that means you have to move your PS5 as well. And I don't know. I guess, I mean, it is, I do think that obviously the better solution is if you can just move your TV or get another TV or whatever. But it's just another option. Ice Rezo with the $5 chat who says the Game Awards doesn't cover clearly defined genres as much as simulation and strategy. It's awards about game journalist confirmation bias. Yeah, I noticed that too, man. Like I noticed that they mix racing and sports together, which is like I kind of get it, but it's like I don't know. That's a little weird to me. But yeah, man, I get what you're saying, Ice. I do. It really does at times like this seemingly confirm that that's really what is driving this, you know, behind the scenes. And it is unfortunate. I'm just glad that Jeff Keighley understands why people tune into this show, and it's for new game announcements and reveals. I'm glad he understands that because, I mean, Jeff is not going to give an honest opinion on the awards. I mean, obviously, he has every reason to feel good about them because it's his show that he created and he hosts. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Did Jeff Keighley play Hogwarts Legacy and enjoy it? I don't know. I don't know, man. We have Zach with a $5 chat saying, did you see the God of War Midgard and Mishaps video? Definitely a good laugh watching it. Yeah, we did watch that on the channel. I did react to that. It was really funny. I really love the ending of it, where Kratos is he's just sitting there yelling like, Atreus, to me, Atreus. That was really funny. I wish Sony would put more stuff like that out because it is really good. It's actually like way more entertaining than you would expect. But I very much appreciate the super chat, Zach. We have Ice again saying the media is giving Baldur's Gate 3 too much credit. I've been playing the game for 3 years in early access. The game became good because of player feedback. I keep forgetting that this game has had a massively long early access period. Maybe more studios should consider doing that. You know, developing their game over time and early. I mean, I know it's more popular than ever before, but in the case of Baldur's Gate 3, it clearly benefited them a lot. It's tough for me. Well, I'll take your word for it, Ice. I don't want to speak on that. Like, I don't want to agree with you because I don't know. Like, a lot of people are saying that Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win like the most awards, and it seems like it is. I've already talked before about how like when I look at Baldur's Gate 3, I don't quite understand like the level of like the amount of love and attention it's getting. Like I don't get it, but it's probably just because I don't understand that genre of game entirely. But Appreciate you letting me know about that, Ice. And we also have Michael Werneth again saying, I too clean my BSAC on live stream. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Michael, we're just going to move right along from that, my friend. We're just going to move right along from that. That's funny shit, dude. Let me see here. All right. All right, guys. So I did say earlier in this stream that I was going to talk a little bit about the Knights of the Old Republic. And I am going to do that, but we're going to do it very quickly because frankly, there's not much to say. But just in case anybody missed it, because I get asked about this game all the time, like, are there any updates on KOTOR Remake? We do have an update on KOTOR Remake, and it's not a good one. Insider Jeff Grubb came out and said that no one is working on this game. It's just not being developed. And it's interesting because he said it's dead. No one's touching it. It's just dead. What's also interesting is the CEO of Embracer refused to comment on it, which is stupid because it's like you gotta let people know like what is going on with this game. But something else really important that Jeff Grubb also said is that Sony cut ties with this project. So if anything does come of this project, Sony isn't going to have any involvement anymore. And I think Sony just made like a bad deal and a bad partnership with, Aspire and Embracer. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people really wanted to see this thing come to life and be treated with the respect. And, I think people were hopeful for like a Final Fantasy VII level remake, but it turns out that it's not happening, apparently. So the problem of announcing games too early. In this case, yeah. It's too much uncertainty. All right. With that being said, though, guys, we are rapidly approaching the 4-hour mark. And so this is where I'm going to bring this stream to an end. But if you are a channel member, okay, we have 82 members that were just gifted today, which is phenomenal. If you are a channel member and you have that badge next to your name, you're going to have access to the next part of the stream, access to the members lounge, okay? Now, I do want to let you know that I have not done this before. So like I know there might be some technical difficulties is all I'm trying to tell you. Okay? Let me see. Yeah, I already ran into a technical difficulty here because I had set it up prior, but I noticed that it I think I may have linked it to this stream. Let me test something here. I might break the system here, so bear with me if I do. But yeah, we're going to move over to the members lounge, and I have something I want to do with you guys. So hang tight for a moment. Sorry if there's some dead air here, but I got to figure out how to do this properly. See if I can get the thumbnail up. Nope, that's the wrong thumbnail. There we go. Moving right along here. But yeah, like I said, the members lounge is something that I'm planning on doing very frequently. All right, let's see if this. I have no idea if this is going to work or not. Okay, yeah, I realize now Okay. All right. Well, again, hang with me here because I'm running into a couple technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on with my stream. So here's what's gonna happen. That's wild. This stream is gonna come to an end. All right, and within about, I'd say I'll schedule it for 4:15. Okay, for 4:15, we're gonna open up the members lounge and doing something a little bit different, but it's something that should be kind of. I'm hoping it's kind of fun, but it's definitely something a little bit different. So if you are a channel member, stick around, or just don't go too far. The members lounge is going to be opening up very soon, and I'm curious to see how it goes. So with that being said, I said 4:15. So the members lounge will basically be opening in 15 minutes. Okay, it'll be opening in 15 minutes. I'm going to take just like a little small intermission, grab a drink. MBG playing Redfall. I am playing something, but we're not playing Redfall. No. All right. So with that being said, though, I do have to give a massive thank you and a massive shout out to all of you guys. Okay. We had a ton of support today. Massive shout out to all the membership gifters. Again, got to give a shout out to Michael for dropping a 50 bomb, but we also have many other legends here today dropping a lot of memberships. So I really appreciate that, guys. We also have a lot of super chats and everything that you guys do for the channel. I really do appreciate. You guys power the channel. If it wasn't for you, this content and these streams wouldn't exist. So amazing stuff. I'll say 4:15 Eastern time. Okay, like literally just in 15 minutes from now. Okay. So one last thing, I want to give a big shout out to Devil Shooter. Devil Shooter does the timestamps for all the streams, and he does a phenomenal job. So if you see him doing the timestamps in the comments, give him a big thank you. Devil Shooter, thank you so much for what you do. And the very last thing I'm going to ask you guys to do as you head out, hit that like button. Okay, we're sitting at 337 likes. I think if everybody contributed, we could easily get to 350 likes. So that does it, guys, for this stream. Again, we're heading over to the members lounge. I hope to see you guys there very soon. So until next time, take care, everyone.